All right. We are live, I believe. What is going on, guys? Today we are going to be ranking chairs based on basically back pain relief, back support. We know it's one of the biggest reasons why so many people are looking for chairs. They're trying to tackle that back pain, and it can hit in different spots for sure. What we're going to do in this one is we're going to take all of the most popular chairs that we've ranked in the past, where we kind of look at comfort as a whole and more focus on what that backrest does for you. So remember, these are all our opinions. This doesn't mean it's set in stone, but today a little different, Robert. We decided we're going to actually include everybody else to score with us.
It should be fun. I mean, you guys have heard our ranks on a lot of this stuff. This will, of course, be a little different with the back pain focus, but we want to hear what you guys have think. So especially if you've spent some time in the chairs, or even you can kind of, as we're going through them, if you want to throw your vote towards one of us or not, if Ryan's giving it a C and you see this is a A-tier chair, you can kind of help us out, get that in the right tier. But
especially if Ryan is doing that, because I'm going to need your support here. No, we've got a bunch of good chairs. We've got some new stuff in here too. We've got the Calla Atlas chair. That's always a staple. That's a great chair at a lower price point. That one's going to be in here. Plus all the Libernovo stuff that just came out, including the Maxis chair. I think that's how you say it, right?
Yeah.
Is it Maxis?
Maxis?
I don't know. Maybe that's the first thing people need to let us know if we're right on that one. So let's go ahead and kick this thing off right away. There's also some sales going on. There's a ton of sales, actually, not just ours, but at BTOD, we've got a live 15. So if you've been waiting for a bigger discount, this is going to be it. Basically, we unfortunately, we had to recently raise our prices. Stuff is more expensive, as you all know. Things to ship, not cheap right now. So we had to raise the prices up a bit. We're trying to help out as much as we can by doing this live stream and giving you an opportunity here to use that 15% coupon. It is going to run through Memorial Day, but it's only for people in the live stream or if you're in the email list. So if you were thinking about it, now is definitely a time to grab onto that. So let's kick it off right away with a classic chair now for us. It's been out for a while. Ryan is actually in the latest version of this chair. It is the Haworth Fern. And the Haworth Fern is interesting because it comes with or without lumbar. And I don't know about you, but I don't think it's something you should be taking out. I know people have talked about taking it out, but it wouldn't be something I would recommend.
Yeah, the only way I would ever do that is if I found one used or something that had it and I absolutely hated it and I wanted to take it out or something. But, the way to do this is to just buy the right version ahead of time. And, if you like a lot of lumbar right away, I think you'll be happy with the lumbar version. Ryan has always kind of been on record as not necessarily liking as extreme of lumbar. So for him, it makes a ton of sense to go without it.
Yeah, so this chair is huge with the lumbar for me. I love the lumbar on it. I give it an A tier with the lumbar. I actually would give it a C tier without. Biggest reason for it is there's just not enough support for me. My back gets tired in this chair without the lumbar in there. I really notice that it sort of feels almost like nothing there for me. And so I go A tier with, C tier without. Great in a reclined position with, and again, upright, same thing, full back support. What do you got, Robert?
Yeah, for me, this is definitely an A. I'm also right there with that. I'm not necessarily like wanting like the most lumbar you can possibly get, but I do like it to be pronounced enough that I can definitely feel it. And the nice thing with the Fern is, we're going to talk about some chairs today that have, we sometimes use the word pokey or more extreme, I guess, where you can you're sitting in the chair and you can literally feel it pushing into your back. I wouldn't say that that's necessarily the Fern. I think it kind of blends into the backrest, just kind of giving you that extra bump of support in the lower back. So for me, I love it with the support. And yeah, it's going to be an A for me. It's probably a high A, to be honest.
Ryan, what do you think?
I think it's going to vary obviously by the lumbar, and what they're talking about by the pokey lumbar is you can see kind of if we get close up here, the lumbar on the Fern is more like an airbag, so it's not like a piece of plastic or just a piece of foam that kind of sticks into you. It's more like an airbag, and it really, really gives if you lean into it. So me personally, even though I don't prefer the lumbar on the Fern, I'd still give it an A- because I still think it's a phenomenal chair for just overall back support. I could easily use this with the lumbar all day long. When you take out the lumbar, it just meets kind of what I look for in a chair a little bit more, and so for me, it's easy S tier. And what I look for in a chair with good back support is that it actually supports my entire back. So a lot of these chairs that you're going to see today, if they have pronounced lumbar, your shoulders are going to be like this. Whereas like with this chair, it's got a perfect S curve, so it's supporting your shoulders all the way down through your lumbar, all the way down to the very bottom of the chair, which you're not going to find in a ton of models. And then this one can also give you some flexibility, some mobility in the chair. So easy S tier for me on this one without the lumbar, A- with the lumbar. So phenomenal score.
What does that give us here? Anybody else score?
It's got to be like a high A,
High A?
somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're at a high A. Anyone in the chat there, let us know if you want to give this one a rank. We'd love to hear what you guys think.
Live and Proof just
Avoid
got
this though. Avoid this. Don't get this.
yeah, the headrest.
Don't get this.
Yeah.
This ruins the this would take my backrest score down to a C+. Don't get the headrest.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a great point. Yeah, we got someone in the chat that just got their Aeron, so I think they're probably going to be waiting for their opportunity with the Aeron to give it an S tier. Well, maybe, I guess, if you just got it, you didn't get a chance to have it for a while. Okay, so next up, Colony Atlas. I know a lot of you have had a chance to try this chair, have purchased this chair. Some of you still use this one. For me, this is sort of like the just where you enter into a chair that you can actually start sitting in for long periods of time. I actually referenced this in a post that we put up where it was the best office chairs for back pain and long hours, specifically for people who are trying to sit for 8+ hours. Now, with that said, for me, this chair in the lumbar region is a little bit pokey. People have mentioned this in the past. I think it's still a supportive backrest. The headrest is much better than the Fern as well for a chair that's a lot less expensive.
Kind of funny that, I mean, way cheaper chair, but the headrest is actually one we'd really recommend, just how it goes sometimes. But
I think I would actually rank this chair higher without the lumbar support for back support. It's got a great tall backrest for me. I fit in it. I'm about 6 foot tall. Again, it's got a nice S curve in the back just naturally. So for this one, I'm going to go C+ with the lumbar just because at scale across all of the chairs, that's kind of one of its maybe only drawbacks for me for what you're getting with the chair.
yeah, I'm probably even a little higher than that because I think I agree about what you're saying about the lumbar, but I think that the curve in that backrest just does so much work for you that it really kind of gets you in the right position. We'll talk about that with several other chairs because sometimes they build it in, sometimes they have it as an added piece, right? The Atlas here does kind of both. It has the added lumbar that you can adjust, but that the curve is really nice. You can kind of see that. Francis is getting our videographer getting a great angle, kind of that side. You can see that just right in the frame. And then with the mesh, you sink into it the right amount. I think kind of to Greg's point, if I'm explaining this right, you're kind of saying that extra piece almost stops you from some of that sinking in, which
right.
I can feel that. I think that's probably why I wouldn't go like a higher B or something, but I'll still go B-.
For me, I think the lumbar for me, it takes away a little bit from the chair. I'm at a B tier regardless, even with the lumbar added. But I think that you could go without it, and it would probably feel a little bit better and remove some of the pain points that some people have with it feeling a little bit pokey, just because there's no padding on the lumbar. Like when you zoom in, it's just straight plastic. And so some people can feel that. But for me, this is another one of those chairs like the Fern where it is going to support you from your lower back all the way through your upper back. And one thing that you'll notice is it does it through the entire zone, which I really like. I don't like it when I lean back and all of a sudden my back is separated from the chair, or I lean forward and my top is separated from the chair. This one, you're just kind of locked in the whole way. It's got awesome mesh. It's not a flexible frame, but it's not super hard and pokey. So I think it's a great backrest. For the price, tough to find much better than this. So I'm at a B tier.
Yeah.
All right, so we go on B. I was overruled on mine, but it does sound like most people kind of have that same opinion. And if there's any real drawback to the chair, that's really where it is. So, all right,
I'm going to move this up. Unless anyone out there wants to throw in a rank, we can adjust it, but it'll be our first B tier and probably on the lower end of B, right? But if we'll add more chairs and see where that falls.
Let's go. Okay, so next up, we've got the Anthros, and this is the 2.0. Big difference with the 2.0 is that they've really improved areas like the seat, but that's not what this is about. But they did include changes to their backrest and made it bigger. So it's overall, it has more coverage. Before, it felt more specific in areas and didn't spread across your back as well. I think this was a big update for their product to be better for more people. I didn't mind it before, but I did notice that it did get better overall. So you can actually kind of cheat a little bit more in this chair. Why I like this one, this is almost the king of the chairs when it comes to back support specifically, and they approach it a little different way. It's got pelvic support, lower support in your back. It's not the lumbar region. It actually starts down by your pelvis, and this is a huge, huge change compared to a lot of different chairs, and you can fine-tune it. It is something, though, that if you're not used to that kind of support, it is going to feel different for you for a while. And actually, we've seen people report that it makes you a little bit sore because it's forcing you into better posture. For me, this one is You can independently adjust that lower support and that upper support, so you get great back support, low and upper, and when you're reclined and upright and in the middle. So like it's great all the way. I'm going to go S tier on this one for sure. And I think it makes sense considering the chair was really made for this.
Yeah, I think this is one kind of like you were saying, it's going to require like a break-in period, not necessarily the chair breaking in, but your body has to kind of get used to it because it is definitely a more specific kind of putting you in just the right posture. But yeah, like Greg said, I mean, this is, I think probably the only chair we're going to look at. The reason I look over here, we got all these chairs lined up ready. Looking at all these chairs like here, this is going to be the only one that gives you that ability to fine tune the top and the back of the lumbar support and then your upper back. So because of that, for this list specifically, I'm going to go S as well.
Oh, we got 2 S tiers.
Yeah, probably. I mean, normally this is like an A tier chair for us, right?
Yeah.
But since the back support really is kind of the glowing or shine or best feature of the chair, kind of makes sense that we might give it a little bump even higher.
Those chairs and just pieces of furniture in general, where you have to be very disciplined to get the most out of the chair. The closest to kind of like a medical device out of all the chairs that we've seen is this one for sure. It makes sense. They came from the medical world. In terms of just offering you pure back support, I do think that it has the potential to be the best. But you need to be willing and conscious of always sitting in perfect posture. And for me, that's very difficult. I'm a lazy sitter, I'll admit it. So you can see like in this chair, if I sit up properly, I have a perfect position, perfect back support. But because this backrest moves, and because it's a little bit too high for me, it tends to make me do this. And when I'm lazy, I'll do this, and I'll kind of lean, and it hunches my upper back, and I kind of contract like this. And unless I use my muscles to sit active like this, it kind of becomes a bit of a detriment to me. So if you are a very disciplined sitter, this could easily be S tier for you. And I can see that from these two. If you're not very disciplined and you tend to slouch and get lazy, it's probably gonna be more towards like a B plus, maybe an A minus, and that's where I'm at. I'm at a B plus with this one.
All right, so we overruled Ryan. We got if there was
way overruled.
If there was something considered to be an S minus, I guess that's where it would go. But we've got a couple people voting. Don't forget, guys, make sure you're voting in here too. So if you're in here, even if you've never had the chair, just seeing us in the chair, just your feedback's important, and we're trying to make it a little bit more engaging here today. So having you guys have your input in there is awesome. If you've used these chairs, definitely drop some comments in there too. I know the first comments we've gotten here, unfortunately, are a little bit fuzzy on the screen. Hopefully they got better. Someone asked a question about saddled chairs for like sitting on a horse. I don't really have any experience there. So yeah, but and it's been a long time because that really wasn't my jam. So those made it to the conference room and then they made it to storage. All right. That doesn't tell a great story for sure. So I know for sure, just to go back, Herman Miller, Steelcase, Haworth, they're all in here. Anthros is in this list as well. Remember, there's discounts right now that go through Memorial. So Memorial period is a big time period for people to have sales for furniture. So right now, Herman Miller's 25%. Anthros actually has $200 off. So I know we keep throwing up the links in the stream. Obviously, when you click the link, it's an affiliate link. We do get compensation from that. It helps us do stuff like this, but it isn't going to change anything as far as how you order or anything. It's all the same. So
yeah, you see Michael there put in
for the price.
For the price. And we're trying to kind of just go off of the actual comfort, right? Not or the support. How it's the support, not necessarily if we factor in the price, it's going to make a huge swing on some of these chairs. So we're kind of trying to just ignore that and just think if I didn't know what the price was, what would I rank this chair? And
that's kind of the beautiful thing about the tier list, right? Is the way that I would be looking at this tier list as a shopper is which chairs are lower in price points that sit in the higher tiers? Because in my opinion, that's where you're going to find the value. So in this list, you are going to find chairs for under $500 that are going to be B, maybe A tier, and you're going to find chairs that are like $1,000 that are going to be C, D tier. And so that's kind of how you're going to look for the value, in my opinion, in this list.
Sure, and we can kind of recap that every once in a while, highlight, okay, we just had a $300 chair hit A tier, so this is one you definitely want to kind of zero in on.
100%.
100%. Yeah, what's up, RC here?
RC
Welcome
is here.
Welcome back. All right, so we got to move on. Let's keep going. Ergohuman Gen 2. So Ryan is in it right now. There's actually a Gen 1 chair. I don't know if we have it. Do we bring? Okay, cool. So the original Gen 1 Ergohuman chair came out back in like 2007, I want to say 2008 timeframe. Huge hit, and it was one of the best chairs, I think, to hit the market back then because most of the chairs were pretty meh. And this is the first one that really kind of competed directly with an Aeron. Now, it's not an Aeron chair. Aeron is Aeron for sure. However, it was a comfortable mesh chair that had a ton of adjustments, and one of those adjustments was a very pronounced lumbar system. I love this. Ryan is not that way. Robert's more like me in liking that more lumbar support. The first chair was really good for what it was, but it became dated. The next chair, they made some huge improvements on the backrest. Number one, they fixed this in between the upper and lower part of the backrest where there was a gap that was uncomfortable. They fixed that. And they also put tension adjustment on the lower lumbar part, meaning that you could have more or less pushback on your back, essentially, depending on how much you like. And there's a big difference between having it full on and less. This is one of those chairs. He's in the leather Gen 2. It's definitely going to be the most pronounced. I know it's going to be very specific in one spot for Ryan. If you get the mesh version of the Gen 2, it's more spread out. In my opinion, even someone who likes a lot of lower lumbar support, I think that the leather version is a little bit too aggressive. I love the mesh in the backrest, whereas I love the leather seat, which we're not supposed to talk about. S tier for me with a mesh backrest. I'm probably going to go A tier if it's the leather, just because it's very specific and it's going to kind of narrow who would want this.
Sure. So, I got kind of an interesting story on this. So when I first started at BTOD, this was the chair that was kind of at my desk, and I'm sure there was other chairs around, and at that time, this is like 7-8 years ago, I had a lot more back pain, probably because coming from my previous office, I had a bad chair or whatever. I just wasn't thinking about how to sit properly and all that kind of stuff. And right away, I sat in the Ergohuman. Of course, it was the Gen 1 version because this is years ago, and I loved it. And I think a lot of it was, as we kind of talked about, it's very pronounced, and it just felt like it just hit me in just the right spot in my back. Now, it's true, it's not as adjustable, or it wasn't adjustable at all on the original version, but yet it does have still a lot of flex. So I would probably still give even the older version an A tier. But now this newer version, as Greg said, you can kind of tweak that, the amount of kind of pushback that it gives you. It also has the integrated headrest is really nice, just kind of helping to spread your weight across your whole back into the chair. So for me, Gen 2 goes up to an S tier, and I probably would go S tier for either version. I don't know that it changes the comfort to me, for me a ton, but my preference would be the mesh back because you do sink into it a little more. So I would like that mesh back. Leather seat. I think, what do we have there? It's kind of hard to tell. That's all leather.
It's
but
the all leather one.
Yeah, which to me, that this is the nicest looking version, is the all leather. But yeah, we're not ranking on that. But yeah, for me, you had A, right?
I go S tier.
Oh, you had S. Oh, double S already. Now, Ryan, see if he brings this down for us here.
Well,
it's
I'm definitely not going to have it in S tier. I have pretty specific criteria to make it to S tier, but I am going to easily have this in A tier, even if it's the leather version. And I don't really feel like there's a huge difference between the leather and the mesh anymore because they removed the padding and because the frame isn't so pronounced. So like what Greg was talking about is this part right here on the chair. On the old version, you could kind of feel this part. Like when you'd recline back, you could feel this part. And on the all leather version, it was very thickly padded, like actual thick foam padding. Whereas the new design is almost just like a leather over a mesh kind of covering. And so it's much easier to move in it. It's not nearly as pronounced. It doesn't kind of punch you in your lower back anymore. And the big difference maker is that you can keep your shoulders now against the backrest all the time. Whereas in the original leather one, it would push you so far forward that my shoulders couldn't touch. And so they've fixed so many of the issues that they had with the previous version, even though the previous version probably provided some of the best back support of all time out of any chair at that time. I mean, this is the OG of lower back support. It's one of the originators. This chair is where all of these 2 and 3 tier backrests come from, is the Ergohuman. So yeah, I love this backrest. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. Leather or mesh, A tier for me.
What I think is super crazy, so I go to China pretty frequently for work here, and I go to one of the big trade shows there. The last time that I was in China, and I was at the trade show in Guangzhou. It's just incredible how many of these chairs are trying to mimic what he's talking about with that multiple back piece. And you see it now in the States as well. They're really trying to mimic the Ergohuman. It was the first chair to do it. It was very different, and they're all way too pronounced. Like you've seen it on the Flexi Spot chairs. It's almost as if it's like, you know, significant where your upper back can't actually touch the chair. That's gonna
like this.
It's going to create so many problems for you. So when you look at that, even if you like lower support, just know that the gap that's forming. I've even seen people on Reddit putting pillows up here to accommodate for that, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So I know you have to spend a little bit more, but the Ergohuman is under $1,000, and it is the true first version of that. And it's the best version, which a lot of times is like the Aeron. If you're trying to copy the Aeron, there's only one. This is a mesh chair with this two-piece back that's really, really good.
Yeah, we do have one or two chairs that we'll talk about that are kind of exactly what you're saying, where they really tried to copy that style, but didn't quite hit the mark. So
okay, all right. Next up,
I got to move that one in. So that's 2 S's and an A. And someone in the comments said might be the cheapest S minus, and it probably is. Yeah, yeah. I know $1,000 is a lot for a chair, but yeah,
for sure. All right. Next up, we've got the BTOD Dolk chair, and this is too big for Ryan, so we'll see. We'll see what he says. It's too big for me too. Honestly, it's a big chair. But the thing about the backrest, it's got one of the first ones you're going to see in the list that almost, again, the chair that I like to kind of reference is the Vera chair with this. It's the first chair that I really sat in with a mesh backrest that felt like a hammock almost, where it's like supportive through your whole back, has a nice curve to it, and you don't necessarily need to have an actual lumbar support system. Now, some people will say that's a drawback because you can't really dial it in. It probably could be, especially if you don't fit the natural curve. But this one feels good. It's not quite as pronounced as the Vera, so that's an issue for me. And plus, it's just a big chair. So if you're a bigger person, you'll probably appreciate this a little bit more. For that reason, I think it's good. I don't think it's great. I'm going to give it a B.
Yeah, I think B is probably about right. Maybe it's tough because we don't really fit in it properly. But we have had Travis from the office here sit in it, and he was happy with the chair. We do have a whole video if you want to see someone that does fit in the chair better. Travis sat in this for us, and it's more definitely size for him. But yeah, it's got that curve, which is really nice. And I do the Vera again, like you said, we keep coming back to this because that kind of is our pinnacle of a perfect lumbar curve. And this has that really nice mesh, also similar to the Vera. So it does so much work for you without having anything, you know, poking in through the mesh. And what's nice about that too is like when you do decide to move around in the chair, it's not like if you like slouch just a little bit, it's not like, oh, that lumbar is missing me now, because there isn't actually a lumbar, you know, piece behind that mesh. So it's still going to support you pretty well, excuse me, just by the mesh being supportive. So that was just my headrest falling down.
Is that the prototype?
This is the prototype. I'm sitting in the prototype Libernovo for a reason, so we can talk about it. But yeah, that was one of the things that they fixed in the new version. But let's not get too distracted. But yeah, that'll probably happen again now that I lifted it up. But yeah, so anyways, back to the chair. It's probably B for me. If I was bigger, and maybe I'd go higher than that. But yeah.
Yeah, I originally was gonna give this a C+, but like, in terms of just like comfort and support, it does have good comfort and support. The mesh is very comfortable. It sinks in nicely. It supports you nicely. The curve is good. I do think it curves away from the top of your back maybe a little bit too soon, even though I'm shorter. So that might be even a bigger problem for someone who's taller. I'm not sure. But I don't love where the frame is. And that's the only reason that I probably wouldn't be able to put this higher, is simply because every time that I move my arms, I hit the frame. And so this, for me, all day, it would be a deal breaker for me, because I'm always moving. And every time that I move my arm, if I hit the frame, I wouldn't be able to use the chair. So I'd be at a B- for this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's built for bigger people for sure. So that
if I was a little bit wider, I'd probably avoid that problem. So
yeah, good point. So it's going to be like a low
like a B overall. 2
Yeah,
B's
it'll
and a
be
B-
like
or something.
We'll put it below the Atlas. Feels about right.
All right. Next up, Steelcase Gesture chair. This is interesting because if you do accommodate for the headrest in your back, I don't know if you can.
I think it does impact a little bit because it does kind of help you, especially when you're reclining. It helps you kind of even out your weight across the whole chair. But when you're sitting upright, it's not really doing much at all for your back. But the gesture is a little different in that you can get that really dialed in, so you can be sitting upright and have the headrest actually being effective. So
the reason we talk about the headrest is because this is probably the best headrest out there, especially from a major manufacturer.
Yep.
If we're just going to look at the backrest, which we are unfortunately here, so it is, for me, I've talked about this one quite a bit. I like a lot of lumbar support. This is one that it doesn't hit the way that I hoped it would. Even with the height adjustable lumbar in there, it actually doesn't feel like it's in it. I know it's not in this one, but we have, I don't know how many gestures we have, too many. But so we have that. I've spent a bunch of time in it. It just doesn't hit like the other two chairs from Steelcase that I really appreciate, the Amia and the Leap. And so because of that, I'm going to get skewed here probably for what it is. I mean, I'm going to go B tier. I feel like it's still a good back.
I was like afraid you were going to go like D or something.
Yeah,
but.
D, F tier. No, it's not that bad. But I do notice, especially when I recline in the chair, it sort of doesn't have that lower support I'm looking for. It doesn't hit the way I like it to hit. It's just, I don't know, there's something about it. And it forces you into the curve that it has. And for me, it just doesn't work. So.
Yeah, this also has a little bit of that where it doesn't quite hold you upright because it wants to have a little tip kind of to it, which I don't know how much that affects, when we're talking about back pain, but it's backrest related, and I don't necessarily love that. I'm again with Greg here where I would choose the Amia or the Leap backrest over this, but at the same time, it's kind of one of those things. We have the experience sitting in all those chairs, so we kind of know we know what to compare it against. If I was just like given this chair by my employer, I would probably think it's just amazing, and it is a great chair. I probably would be at a high B, maybe even an A minus. One thing that I like about this chair that is maybe I don't know that I've heard you guys say this as much that you like it, but is the kind of the hugging sensation. So that's a little bit unique to certain chairs where they make you feel a little more cradled. Libernovo is definitely a chair like that where you can feel it almost kind of hugging in your love handles, whatever you want to call this, kind of a little bit even up in the upper back. You can kind of feel that it's wrapping around you. I personally like that feeling. Might be a little bit warmer, but anyways, for back comfort, I like that. So that's why I might be a little higher than Greg. But again, I would choose the version with the adjustable lumbar, which we've sat in a ton. I mean, I've spent a lot of time in this chair, and really my problems that I have with this chair are more related to stuff that's not the backrest. So, which is, stuff with the arm tip I don't love. Seat feels a little bit like I'm sliding forward, but the backrest is great. So sorry, now I'm rambling, but I'm going to go high B, B plus, borderline A minus.
All that, and you still gave it a pretty good rank. It almost was, you almost were like me in a way. All right, what do you got, Ryan?
I think that it's tough to give it a poor score. I think that the problem with the gesture is that you're going to be comparing it to all of the other flagship chairs, right? I mean, it's a $1,500 chair from the arguably best manufacturer on the planet, them, Herman Miller, Haworth, whoever you want to pick. But it's up against the flagship chairs. And so for me, I think it's a great backrest. I do think that it does give you support through the whole back. I don't really care about the height adjustable system because I don't feel it. I don't think it really does anything, but the chair gives me enough support. I like that the backrest is skinny, so you avoid any problems with hitting anything. You have huge range of movement. It is flexible, so you can move. One thing that I don't think is touched on enough with the gesture backrest is that it's much more firm than any of the other flagship chairs, even the Amia. The Amia and the Leap have kind of this built-in almost like the fabric is a little bit further away from the padding, and so it kind of gives you this more suspended feeling, and it's a little bit softer, whereas the gesture doesn't have that. Like Robert said, it kind of hugs you, and there's not a ton of padding, so it's much more firm than the Fern. It's going to be more similar to the Embody's firmness, which is why I wouldn't be able to put it in an S tier or probably an A or an A plus. I went back and forth between B plus and A minus. I'm going to go with an A minus and give it the benefit of the doubt, but I can see why these guys were at a B tier with it.
We need RC here. You got to commit. You got to commit to a tier here.
Well, he said it was the chair that he thought that he was going to want. And then I think that it kind of goes in line with what Ryan said. You know, it's a $1,500 chair. Arguably, it is their flagship chair, second to maybe Leap. Maybe that's what they want. I don't know, but it's definitely more expensive. It just, for me, it just doesn't hit the way that the Leap hits. And so I know that that's not the case for everyone, though. So it's one of those things. Take advantage, I guess, of their free returns if you're unsure. But
this does things the Leap doesn't. That's just the fact. And so
there you go. Okay.
I'm going to go top of B tier since we kind of were right on that A minus, B plus. So
not bad. Not
too
bad.
A minus. That almost sways it up, but I think, we're
he,
still there.
If anybody else wants to throw in their vote, throw it in there.
Yeah, right now we are right teetering on that edge. Yep. So one more vote might push it up to A. But
all right. Next up, the ProtoArc EC.
Make you appreciate that
gesture. The EC200. And this is, I just have to put this in perspective. I looked at the price today on this one. It's $161.
Yeah, well.
Which is absolutely ridiculous for a chair. I mean, seriously, a chair that is something like this where it has features and options and things that you can do with it that are just more than a swivel task chair. So with all of that said, I know that this has been a glaring point for people who have bought it since I actually recommended it. So again, I found this chair. It's now all over YouTube. It is crazy how all over it is. I don't know if they did a campaign or what, but after I featured it, it is on every channel that has ever talked about chairs. It's for $161. I think in this list, it's going to be probably pretty close to tops. But again, I don't know what the other guys think. I'm going to go B minus on this one. And the reason for it is I'm letting some of that stuff filter in, I think, from others' opinions. And I'm noticing how it is a bit jabby for some people. I like lower support. I can move it up and down. It's got good range. You can pull it back. You can push it in. But I'm sure Ryan's going to tell me that if he even backs it all the way off, he can still feel it. And so if you're someone like that doesn't like really specific support, this one might not be for you. But I'm going to go B minus.
Yeah, I'm probably more of that C plus range just for that reason, because you definitely can feel that and there's not really a way to get rid of it. So yeah, the benefit here is, again, that price range. If you want a chair that's under $200, you're still going to get a comfortable chair. I mean, even at a C plus, we're saying that that's better than the average chair that you're out there testing. So we're going to have a lot of chairs. We're kind of starting off high with a lot of good chairs. We're going to show you some other popular chairs later that we rank a lot lower than this. So it's still a chair we recommend. But again, you got to kind of know what you're getting into a little bit, that it's not going to be that S tier comfort. It's not going to be the perfect one for your back like other chairs. But, you know, I also like to kind of say too, I mean, there's people that are maybe looking for a chair that isn't a 8-10 hour chair. Might be a good option for that too. But if you're spending, 8 hours working in this chair and then you got a couple hours of gaming or hanging out at your desk, whatever, I'd be a little nervous if this was my, only chair I was sitting in. So I'm going to go C plus.
Ryan's going to tank the score. I can see his face.
I have to. I mean, there's just so much wrong. Listen, I think that this is a good overall chair for something under $200. The backrest is what I don't like about the chair, though. Yeah. Like, what I like about this chair for under $200 is the seat, the adjustments, the arms. The back is what I don't like, and I don't like it for two big reasons. Number one is it does, to me, feel like you just have a rolled up towel in your back all the time. And even when you do back it off, there's just no way to get away from it. And so I find myself like literally flexing my stomach forward to avoid hitting it, which obviously isn't great. You don't want to be doing that. The second thing that I don't like is that the way that the seat tilts, you'll see I have it like almost all the way down, but watch my feet. They cannot stay flat on the floor, okay? So as soon as that happens and my heels come up, my lower back separates from the backrest, and now I have no lumbar support. So as soon as I get to here, I don't have any lumbar support anymore, all the way through the whole range. So when I'm like this, my lower back is not touching the backrest at all. And so for me, this is gonna be a D tier backrest, and I get it for the price. It can be a great buy, but back support, back comfort, back pain, this isn't the one that I would go with.
And that's the hard thing too with fit, right? It's always going to be an issue, but you do want to consider what chairs are like in the upright, mid, and full recline, especially if you're someone who is going to use this chair for more than just tasking, which I know that most of the people who follow us and that come in the live streams and watch all of our videos, you're using these chairs for more than just work, right? You're sitting in them, hanging out, watching content on YouTube, watching shows, whatever it is. I don't know if anybody watches TV anymore, but you're playing games, stuff like that. So, all right, what is that? Where does that put us?
That averages to a C+.
All right, C+. Not too bad, to be honest. Remember, it's $161. All right. This is crazy. We've got a Libernovo Maxis. How do we say it?
I think Maxis.
I like it.
I'm gonna say Maxis.
Anybody in the chat wants to give their opinion? Let us know.
We threw off the order a little bit, so we got to roll this one in.
Maximus.
Maximus, the Maximus chair.
The Libernovo Maximus.
So RC here, we're not putting price into the equation. However, we do talk about it just because obviously people are going to want to talk about price. All right, this thing is a
monster.
A monster.
I don't fit in this thing in the slightest.
So I'll say this about Libernovo for sure. Again, I saw them when I was in NeoCon last year, and I got a chance to meet their team, and I was really impressed with the first chair that I saw that was a prototype. It felt like they had listened to feedback from the entire community, spent a ton of time on our content, other people's content in Reddit, and formulated what was their first iteration of the chair, which you're sitting in. And they continue to do that. They have been one of the fastest to adapt and change and tweak and provide things that you guys keep asking for. So we got to give them some kudos where it's due. And yeah, I know everybody's concerned with the, how long has this company been around, some of the electronic stuff like that. Again, the way that they are with listening to the consumer and working on improving products is really quite a nice thing to see, especially in the seating category when big players don't do that a lot. You see it coming from some of these players that aren't the majors, like Anthros. I know they're always working to improve their chair. Same thing here with this one. So, really good thing with that. Now, with the customer service side of things, I know they've been working on it. It's something that we even talked about. We were like, we can't promote this until you actually get that stuff figured out, which I know it's gotten much better. But again, if you have issues, make sure you're letting us know, because we want to make sure that we're taking care of it as best we can. We're always trying to advocate for everybody. With all of that, now comes the most important thing. This is actually my favorite version of their chair, even though I'm not necessarily built for it width-wise. But this is my favorite version of their chair because I like a little bit firmer seat, but we can't talk about that so much. But the lumbar, actually, the backrest, it actually hits me in the right spots on this one. I noticed that it got lower in my lower back and then had really great support up through my mid and upper back, where I don't get that with this version and the Pro version. So for me, it's S tier. It's an S tier backrest for me. I really, really like it.
Yeah. So one other thing I'll add to that. So I've spent a lot of time in all of the Libernovo chairs. I did all the videos for all of them. So we have this Maxis is coming out in a little bit here. One other thing that they changed in this is the armrests. Now, you might be thinking, why does that really affect back comfort if that's what we're talking about today? But if we look at this chair, so I'm sitting in the prototype, the original prototype Libernovo that came out, and this is the same as what their just standard Omni chair is. The armrests don't go low enough. So I can even feel it. I've only been here for like an hour or something, and I can already feel I don't like that the arms go low enough, and that affects my back because what's happening is it's pushing my shoulders up. So what I want to do is I kind of slide my arms forward so that my shoulders can drop where they're supposed to be. And you can feel the pinch in your back after a while when your armrests are not at the right height. Now with the Maxis chair and the Pro chair, they have fixed that, and the SE. So the SE is the cheaper version of the chair, which is only like less than $600 right now with their pre-order thing. They fixed that. They can go lower, and to me, that is just a massive win. So
thing here too, and also to show something that Robert can't show right now, but I can since I'm in the chair. The arms, not only do they go low enough and put you in the perfect spot, but they come with you because you'll notice this slides. It's the only chair I've ever seen that ever has done this. So the arms aren't fixed to the back. They just literally slide with you. So wherever my arms are here, That's where they are through the entire recline range. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it is really nice. And they've also kind of improved that. This original one was a little bit more sticky. It didn't slide quite as well. The newer versions are definitely better. So I don't know what the difference really is, but
those are the biggest arm pads I've seen on any chair in my life.
It's the entire length of my arm.
Massive.
It almost,
my hand.
If you're not wide enough in it, it poses a bit of an issue because you can't, because the arms they narrow up, but then the backrest is so wide, it gets in the way.
They bump
so you have
into
to almost pivot them inward, but like they're cover your entire lap. Like, I mean, they're crazy.
Yeah.
So look at the range on those things. It's crazy. I would be curious to know how those hold up long term with someone putting a bunch of leverage on the front of that arm pad.
For sure.
That would be a concern of mine for sure. So,
So yeah, definite improvement. Arm pads are improved. They're actually softer too, but kind of getting back into that backrest. I would agree with Greg. It's not my favorite chair, I don't think, overall from Libernovo, but I do really like that backrest. I think that's going to be my favorite backrest. I even joked about this with the videographers the other day. Can I steal that backrest and put it on like the other Pro chair?
Yep.
Which I think you can, but I'm not going to tell you to do that. But
we're the place that does the Franken chairs.
Yeah,
all you need to do is buy a couple Libernovo chairs, swap some parts, and you got yourself the Franken chair.
It's still going to be cheaper than an Embody, so or borderline.
That's true.
So anyways,
what's your rank?
Absolutely love that backrest. Headrest is amazing again, which kind of helps that. It's going to be an S for me.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we got 2 S's.
Ryan's like, no,
I kind of feel the opposite way about this backrest compared to the one that actually fits me. For me, this one feels more like it's sloped vertically, like curved like this, instead of like the one that fits me feels more like it's cupping me. So like the backrest is super flexible, like Embody level flexible, but because I'm not big enough to get on the outside of the frame to flex it, it doesn't feel flexible for me when I sit in the chair. And then because the foam is pretty thick, the bigger backrest tends to get a little bit warm just in the short amount of time that I've even been sitting in it here. So I'm gonna be at a B+ on this one just because mainly fit issues. It's just too big for me to take advantage of the flexibility, and I think the curve is a little bit different. This one certainly feels quite a bit different than the regular size one. So I'm gonna be at a B+ for this one overall. Is it super comfortable? For sure. It just probably doesn't fit me correctly, honestly.
Yeah, the backrest is thicker, so it is noticeably thicker and firmer. Like there's a difference in the density of the foam on the bigger chair for sure. So RC here asked a question on chairs with the airflow in the seat, which is probably like dialed perfectly in for everybody on Reddit because everybody talks about that specific thing. That chair has it. I don't know if you noticed that. Yeah, so it's got a fan in it. Yeah. Okay. On the left-hand armrest, you can see it's the back button.
Yeah, it definitely works because I've spent some time in this, and it's already starting to get a little warmer in Wisconsin, believe it or not. It's been some warmer days. I've hit that on, or like I said in my video for the Pro, I use my walking pad a lot. So I'll walk for Greg and I will have meetings. We'll walk together for an hour on video. I get done from that, I'm pretty warm. So I want to sit down, I hit that air cooling, and it feels really nice. So it definitely does work now. Yeah, and there's 2 modes. I actually, noticeable. At first I was always using the high mode. Then I was like, that's actually too much because I want to turn it off pretty quickly. But keeping it on the low mode and just letting it go for a while. And it also, it's very quiet. Like the camera's probably not even picking it up.
If you have cooling seats in your car, it feels almost identical to that.
Yeah. And it doesn't seem to affect the comfort. I don't feel anything. If we look at we actually got an extra seat pad. That fan is like way below. It's not like it's between the shell and the pad. It's down below. So it is a firmer seat, like Greg said, but I don't think that fan is making an impact on that.
If you want this chair or the other versions of the chairs that are coming out, make sure you click. I think there's a link down below here that Taylor shared. Go over there. They're asking for a small deposit on it. You still get a huge discount, and then it's not as big of a commitment for if you want one of these for when they release. But I would definitely do it sooner than later so you get the best pricing if you're serious about the chair. But okay, let's what did we end up with there? It was a long one.
That was A- because we have 2 S's,
A-.
B+. We actually only have 1 Libernovo icon, so I can put it in there, but we might have to move it around when we try out those other chairs. You want to answer that question about the flip-up arms?
Yeah, so I don't
try to tackle that?
I don't play guitar. I don't really play guitar.
Yeah, so can't help you.
So I can't help that much with that, but I know that that's the reason why people pick the Gesture. That's the reason why people end up with some pretty terrible chairs that flip their armrest back.
Yeah.
You know, you could also look at something like removable armrests, like the chair that he just got into. The Yes chair actually has a pretty quick remove system that you can actually pop the armrest off. You can see, so if you wanted to do it that way, maybe that's an option for you too. That would be what I would suggest, especially if you're someone who wants to have good adjustable arms.
Yep. This is definitely the easiest. It's kind of just funny timing that you asked that. This is the absolute easiest chair to remove and replace the arms of anything is the OM Yes chair. So that's a good option. I have heard people using the Embody for guitars / bass because they go super low, but they're still going to be there. So it's not, you can't remove it, but you can put that armrest way down low on an Embody.
Ryan, would you pay $200 for that fan in the Libernovo chair?
Would I personally?
Would you personally pay $200 to have that in your chair?
In that chair?
Yeah.
Yes.
You would?
It would depend on the chair.
Okay.
I mean, would I put it in a ProtoArc? No. But if I was paying $1,500 for a chair and that was a $200 upgrade, 100%.
Yeah.
I use the cooling seat in my car in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
See, I'm not somebody that gets hot as often. So for me, I'd be like,
my cooling seat in my car never gets turned off. It's year round all the time. So like as soon as I felt that in the chair, I was like, oh my God, like I would 100% pay $200 for that.
Well, the question is your cooled seat always on because your wife is like mine and has the heat on high, and so I'm trying to.
Well, this side of your body's hot.
Yeah, I'm trying to manage
the rest of your body.
Yes, my wife gets in the car and it's like 80 right away, and I'm like 62, and then she turns her seat heater on, and then I go cooled seats, and so we're riding opposite. All right, that's funny. Okay, the Yes chair. This is a pretty average chair. I'll just say that when it comes to the backrest and the support on it, it is what you probably have seen on a lot of the chairs that have been around for 20 years, I would say, that style of chair. And so it's got a natural curve in the backrest. You can move the backrest up and down. You can hear Ryan moving it up and down. So you do have some adjustment range to kind of fine tune where you put the backrest. But for me, this is, again, you know, Ryan talked about this before. When he reclined back in a chair, this is one that I get a big gap forming between my lower back and the chair. It's not a great chair. It's just decent when it comes to back support. I'm going to go C+.
Interesting. I thought you'd go a little higher in that. I know this has been one of your kind of.
I love the seat. I love the headrest.
About the chair, the seat and the arms.
Yeah, 100%.
The things that we always talk about that are maybe going to be drawbacks are going to be the backrest because the mesh isn't great. It's lower grade mesh. It's got a pretty plasticky frame, so you will feel the frame at times. There's no added lumbar support, and like Greg just touched on, you're gonna have a gap at the bottom of your back when you recline. And so kind of like the previous chair, just not nearly as bad that we talked about where your feet come up and it provides a gap. This one isn't nearly as bad as that, but it's similar effect, right? So if your main focus is just purely fixing back pain and this is your price range, I'd have a tough time leaning towards this one. I'm at a C+ for this one.
Yeah.
We have the same rank? What do you have?
Yeah. Probably a C.
We just swayed Robert's
No,
decision.
no, I wasn't necessarily going higher. I just was more surprised you didn't go higher.
Not an S tier?
No, I mean, I do like this chair a lot. That's the hard thing. And the headrest is really nice. We don't have it on this specific one. And again, like I was saying before with the armrest, they can go really low on this chair, which to me is like a huge downgrade on a lot of chairs.
These arms will go lower than the thickness of my legs.
Yeah.
So like if you wanted to play guitar in this without removing the arms, you could.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting based on that comment that we had, that they do go that low. I guess I didn't realize they got that low. I mean, for Ryan, that's completely pretty much out of the way. And if you needed a little more space, you could pop it out. So who would have known this chair was for guitars?
Yeah.
We've
so maybe, I mean,
that.
that's something to think about. Again, we're not guitar players, but
if I was.
Something to think about, that you don't necessarily maybe have to have them flip up. Some arms remove, some arms go super low, which might solve that. But anyways, back to the backrest here. I do really like the height adjustment. So not a lot of chairs give you that actual height adjustment. So you can, instead of like moving that lumbar in a certain spot, you move the entire backrest to get it positioned. So I'm kind of talking myself into a higher rating, to be honest. I think I'm going to go, you guys had C+. I'm going to go B-. Doesn't really make a difference. Same thing. But so that'll drop in C+. I'll put it above the ProtoArc for sure.
All right, we've got another option in here. This has been just a pick of ours for years now.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Number one, this chair, this is the Ticova. And again, I have to put this big, warning out there because I feel like people see us recommend this chair and just say, oh my gosh, when I got it, I can't believe that it's not an embodied chair. But remember, I checked today, it's literally $129 with 2-day prime shipping on that. I don't even know how that's possible just based on our shipping rates. That's insane. The backrest on this chair is actually, in my opinion, one of the stronger areas of the chair, more so than the armrest, more so than the seat. And I'm going to, because of that, I feel like it's got good lower support. You can tune it in, tune it out. Some people say it's a little jabby, and Ryan might be one of those people, or Robert. But overall, considering 129 bucks, I'm going B tier on this one, which might be a stretch, but this is like Ryan said before. This is one of those opportunities, if you're like me, like a lot of lumbar, where you're going to get a lot of value for your price.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I'll probably go high C on this. I think I agree with, a lot of what Greg said. I do kind of start to get where I'm a little bit too tall for this, so then I start feeling some of the frame a little more, so that loses a little bit of that back comfort for me. But yeah, to see a chair, and it even has some flexibility. You could see his reg that was Ryan and Greg mixed together. You could see as Ryan is moving in the chair, it actually does move with you a little bit, which is pretty good for that cheap of a chair. So, and that kind of flared up on the top again gives you a little bit of extra space. So it's gonna be a C for me.
For me, this is going to be one of the unicorns on the list, where if you're looking for a chair that is priced in a low tier but is actually placed in a higher tier, then this is going to be one of those for me. Like Greg said, one of the biggest reasons why I recommend the Ticova almost exclusively for under $200 is because of this backrest. It supports you from your lower back all the way through your upper back. The lumbar is adjustable. So as you turn this knob, it moves it in or out. So right now I've got it all the way out. And even though it's all plastic, and you'd think from a $150 chair that it'd be really pokey, like Greg said, it's not pokey at all to me. And it's because it's pretty big and it's curved, so you don't feel any of the jabbing. And when you just tone it all the way down, it's actually very, very comfortable for me. It is flexible, like Robert said. It supports you through the whole recline. You can see that when you get all the way back, my feet start to come up. So maybe here is where you might start to have a problem. But it's going to compete with any other B tier head or backrest that I'm going to have in the list. The price point is incredible, and that's going to be where I'm at, B tier for this one.
Wow. So it's a B tier for 129 bucks right now. Again, if you
manage expectations though,
right.
There's reasons why overall this is going to be like a C tier. Why? Because it's got a great backrest, but it struggles in other areas. The build quality, not very good. Expect 1 to 2 years out of this one if you're using it heavily. The seat, you're going to have other things that maybe aren't as good as the backrest. But if you're looking for a chair for under $200 for back pain, this is the one that I would go with 100% of the time.
Yeah.
We move that on up to B tier.
It's in B, just below the Atlas. Feels about right.
Not bad.
Yeah, you guys chime in. If you have these chairs, let us know your rank too.
All right. Next up on the list, Steelcase Amia chair. All right. And just as, I guess, so everybody knows, we do sell this in a refurbished format in case people wonder. We do sell this chair. I guess anything that says BTOD on it, I would assume that people would understand that we sell that, but I just want to give you that big warning so you know, in case you want to decide if that influences my opinion. It really doesn't, because I liked this chair before we sold it. It's the reason why we sell it. But with all that said, I'm going to go A+ on this one. Now, I give this chair overall an S tier because I think it just outpunches most chairs for $1,000 overall. It's got ridiculous seat comfort. It's got amazing other things. But from a backrest perspective, this is probably the only area in the chair, if you have to put it up against the Leap, maybe it's even an A, because the Leap is just the top, right? And this one is just a skosh down from it, mainly because it doesn't have some of that flexibility that the Leap has, and it doesn't have a very, very pronounced lumbar that you can increase back off. It's height adjustable. It's a live back technology that they have. It moves okay. It has good enough support that I can sit in this thing for 12, 14 hours in my day, which is a big thing, but it's definitely not a Leap chair. And so because of that, I couldn't go to S tier with it.
Yeah, that feels about right. And see, for me, it's more my height becomes it's just kind of borderline a problem. Like, I'm still okay in it, but I get to the point where I'm almost at the top of that backrest. So if you're like 6'3", I would think you're kind of got to be a little cautious on whether you might be feeling the
What are you?
top. Well, it depends on the day. Today I'm 6'2", so I'm fine in it, and I'm happy. I'm very comfortable in this chair. If I was taller, I'd probably be getting a little more worried that I'd feel the top of the frame there. It's gonna. I think oh man, this is tough.
You're right there too. You're right on the edge. Like that 6'2", 6'3" is right there. Some people who have longer legs can make this work because they're not as tall in the upper part of their body. So, but you're right on the edge. Yeah,
I think you said an A+. I can't go as high as an A+, but I'll give it an A because I do love the lumbar in this. Again, it has the height adjustment, and it gives a little bit of that cradle, which I like, and not as much as the gesture for sure. But again, I do kind of like that where I feel like I'm being held in the chair. So.
The Amia is a weird one where it's like there's nothing about the backrest that makes you go like, man, this thing is amazing. But like there's nothing that you can really, there's not really much that I can think of that I would necessarily change that wouldn't just cost more money to do. And that's why it doesn't do what the Leap does. So, I mean, I'd be at an A- for this one. I don't think it's quite as comfortable as the Leap or even probably like the Ergohuman chair because it just doesn't do as much. But I would have a very hard time that most people that would get this chair would be disappointed in it. It's soft. It feels comfortable to the touch, which is very important. A lot of these chairs, even the expensive ones, can feel a little bit too firm, a little bit too pokey. You're not going to have that problem on this one. The lumbar system on this one's actually the most complicated of the three. When you look at the Leap and the Gesture and the Amia, which is kind of funny, but when you open up this backrest, it's actually a pretty complicated lumbar system. And for me, it's comfortable because it's not overly pronounced, but it does give you that support, but it kind of flexes with you, which is kind of nice. So overall, awesome backrest. It just doesn't have any of those super high-end features like you're going to have on like the Fern or the Embody. So I'm going to be at an A-.
Yeah, it's kind of like this real large piece that's the lumbar that it slides up and down, whereas the Leap is a little bit more of a narrow piece, which still does a great job. But
it's multidimensional how it flexes too. There's a bunch of different ways that it flexes in there. But again, it isn't their upper tier. This is just a workhorse. I mean, it's the chair that, like, it's crazy. The chair is nondescript all the time. Like, if you get the black version of this chair and you just have it sitting, no one would even think it's anything special.
I have a feeling there's only going to be a couple chairs in this list that cost less or the same that are in the same type of ranking.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Do we go above or below the Libernovo?
I mean,
for me, it's the big Libernovo. We'll see.
That's probably right.
On the little Libernovo.
When we get to the Pro, we might change that one.
Okay. Let's go. We have Fractal Design Refine Chair. And before we jump into this one, just a reminder, guys, make sure if you're interested to purchase any chair from BTOD or another brand right now, there are a ton of really good deals going on. So BTOD has the 15% off. It is during the live stream, and then we have it extended out until I think Monday is when it ends, but you have to know the code. So hang on to the code because it's not published anywhere, and please don't publish it anywhere. Because for us to get the 15, Ryan, not super excited about it as usual, but we got to push him on it. So this time we didn't give it away, but it feels like it sometimes. Herman Miller's 25% off on their performance seating. Steelcase, I think, is 15% off on some stuff, or 25%, excuse me. And then if you look at Haworth, they're kind of a range from about 7 to 15, unless you get in the gaming stuff. Then the gaming chairs are 25%. We've got some of those gaming chairs here, which are essentially the same chair, just configured different with brighter colors. And so, yeah, make sure you're taking advantage of that. Anthros 2 is $200. So we'll drop, if anybody needs any links, we'll drop them in the chat. Okay, Fractal Design Refine Chair. This chair is a gaming chair, and it's the closest gaming chair that is an actual gaming chair, not like the reskinned Haworth chairs and the Herman Miller chairs, which most of them are just straight up chairs with a fun color on it. This one is actually a blend, and it is so close to being great because it has a lot really good things going on for it. For me personally, I love it in a recline position. I like it in the upright position. It's got great lower support. The only thing I think that I don't love about this chair is just how straight it is. It is so straight in the backrest, especially up high, that it's almost a little bit too much and it holds it back a touch. So with all of that said, I'm going to give it an A tier, which
really,
I'm going to give it an A tier
score.
Yeah.
That caught me off guard.
Yeah, there he goes. See, and no one expected it. But I've spent the most time in this chair,
True.
probably out of everybody in the room. And yeah, I do like that part on the chair.
The problem for me with this chair is the reason that I didn't spend a ton of time in this chair is just because of the firmness of the backrest. Like I can even feel it just sitting here right now, like the middle to lower my lumbar, it's just really firm. And that's kind of the thing with most gaming chairs is that they're just overly firm. You've got a lot of metal throughout the frame. You've got the bolsters and stuff like this going on. So you don't have any flexibility. This thing doesn't have very much padding. Like some areas have almost no padding. So it's not like a soft experience. And then, like Greg said, the backrest itself is almost completely straight except for the lumbar area, which kind of puts you in this weird like lumbar support position, but then your shoulders are kind of searching for their support. I don't love the backrest. There's a lot of things that I like about this chair compared to most gaming chairs because it's the closest to an ergonomic chair. But if I was to just compare this to just an ergonomic chair, it's probably going to lose out to most of them. So I'm going to be at a C+ with this one for the backrest. Not terrible, but I think it could be better.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of that's the reason why we add this chair in the list is because we want to give you guys some options that are the more gaming chair aesthetic. But they've done things to make it a little more ergonomic, which is great to see. But I'm with you right there. That back is just too flat. I mean, you can see it better now that you're out of the chair. It's just, it does have that bump for the lumbar, but then the rest of it is just like you're almost not on a board. It's not. Yeah, that is, the headrest is nice. You can slide it up and down a little bit too. So that's a benefit for me. I also have a really big problem with the seat being just super short, which yeah, we're trying to talk about back pain, but if just to really be as helpful as possible, if you are taller, the chair is just not going to fit you because of how short that seat is.
I got the seat depth maxed out right now. I'm a 5'9". It's a little bit too short for me at 5'9".
Yeah, so yeah, you're 5'8", 5'9". You're already in the range of it. Yeah, is about as tall as you should be to have the proper support for your legs. So
it goes plenty high for taller people.
Yeah. So looking at just the backrest, he's back now. He's gonna hear my low ranking.
Oh my gosh!
I'm gonna go C. What did you say, Ryan? You said C. C+.
Haters in the building.
So
that's why I left. I had to leave. I couldn't hear what you had to say about this chair.
That's gonna average out B-.
Probably.
That even feels pretty generous, but
yeah. Well, you know what they say, haters are going to hate.
Anti-Ticova.
All right. Next up on the list, we have the Seahoo. And this one is the M18. This is going to be their most popular chair. It's their cheapest chair. And somehow this thing has way higher ratings than it should on Amazon. I just still don't understand it. The backrest, though, however, is actually probably one of the better features for me on this one. I don't know if anybody else will agree with me here, but the seat's so bad and the armrests are so firm that I have to give some credit where it's due. So on this one, I'm actually going to end up going C+ on this chair with the backrest. The lumbar is a little bit jabby for sure. Otherwise, good support. I would say I could even probably go B- on this one. I'm just kind of comparing it to the other chair in the price range that is the Ticova. I just don't think it's quite as comfortable as Ticova, but I do think it's still a solid backrest. I would just be cautious of buying this one because of the fact that the seat is like sitting on a rock. So
I have a tough time getting out of F tier with this one on the backrest. For me, it kind of does everything that the Ticova doesn't. So as an example, when I sit straight up, my shoulders do not touch the backrest. The lumbar is so pronounced and the pad sticks out so much. Even when you back it off, because it's got the same adjustment thing with the knob back there, it still pushes me so far forward that I cannot touch my shoulders on the backrest unless I force them back, and then this feels super awkward to me. And then the lumbar isn't comfortable. It's padded, yes, but it is so forced forward that I cannot stop feeling like, again, I've got like the wrapped up towel just being shoved in my back. And the thing that I notice the most about this chair is the frame. So like you'll notice the way that they did the mesh. The mesh is in the frame here, which means that it's not wrapped around the frame like a lot of chairs do. And so you can feel this frame everywhere on the chair. So when I recline, I feel this. When I move, I feel this. If I move my arms, I feel this. For me, this is just one of the most uncomfortable backrests probably that I've used on a lot of chairs. And so, yeah, I just have a hard time. I mean, I'm not going to put it in F tier because there's certainly backrests that are worse somehow, but I'm going to be at a D on this one, maybe D minus, somewhere in there. Basically, I would not recommend this to anyone that I know for sure.
Robert has no idea what I gave it for a rank, so let's just see.
I got a pretty good guess.
I don't think so.
No, you don't.
Really?
No, you have no idea what he gave this.
All right. Well, I'm not even knowing. I'll give my own rank, and then we'll figure it out. This is going to be a D for me. Yeah, just not a lot of positive stuff to say about it at all. But yet, at the same time, there are worse chairs. Kind of like Ryan, I caught you saying that. I mean, there's worse chairs. You guys can probably see them on the floor right now, close to Ryan, at least in my opinion. But yeah, it just doesn't have that flexibility. Even the Ticova we talked about had a little bit of flexibility. You're not going to get that in the Seahoo, and just to me, not a lot positive at all. So that just has to be below the average. So it's going to be a D for me. So D minus, right? You said.
What is that average to?
A B. Interesting.
It's a B minus. I said C plus, B minus.
It's gonna be a D plus.
A D plus.
So
well, there you go.
B didn't sway it too much.
There you go. Well, again, this is a redemption tour. I've been on the redemption tour now for like 2 years with these chairs that I F-tiered. Let's be honest. The seat, the arms, the headrest, all that stuff, I probably F-tier the chair over and over and over again. So I'm giving it a little bit of love. Okay, let's keep moving on. Next up, we have the Embody chair. So Herman Miller Embody. Everybody in here loves it. I see the worst chair on the screen. The Herman Miller Embody, Michael says, is the worst
that
chair.
is not the one I was talking about.
Little wink, wink. Actually, for me, so this is a tough one because, again, I'm probably going to get skewered for this because I'm going to probably, I mean, this is basically matching what I said about the other one. I'm gonna give this chair a B. Okay, and I think it's got good support. For me to get good lower support on this one, though, I really have to scoot back in the seat. I need to force myself as far back in the chair, and I just need to stay there. And when I do that with certain chairs, great, but unfortunately, I can't be doing that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I find that I don't get enough lower support where I need it, and I don't love the fact that my shoulders are always rolled over. These are two reasons why, for me, I can't go higher. It's still a comfortable backrest, and it has good support when used kind of the way you use it. You almost back the back off a little bit. So I can use it, and it's still better than a lot of the chairs out there, but it's not for me. So I'm going to go B.
Yeah, it's going to be an A for me. Like Greg just referred to, I back the backrest angle just a little bit off, and that really helps me to not feel the tension kind of up in my shoulders, or what we call the shoulder roll or whatever. If I were a couple inches shorter, I think I'd probably take this from an A to S just because otherwise I love it. For me, that backrest has the right curve to get where I need it to be. Tons of flexibility. I'm always going to give the flexible chairs a little bit of an extra boost. So for me, it's definitely an A. I do also love it with that Atlas headrest. We don't have it in here now, but again, if you want to even spread your weight further up the back, that's going to help it a little bit too. Of course, it adds $300 or something like that. But love the chair. Love the back. Well, I'll say I love the backrest. It's, again, not my top favorite as S tier, but it's going to be a high A.
Ross says that the Embody had it for 2.5 years. Back was okay. Seat was horrid. Doesn't like the chair.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be perfect for everyone, but if this is a horrid seat, then like come sit in the Seahoo.
Come see what the Seahoo feels like.
Yeah.
This chair is ridiculous. It's got some crazy technology in here that no other chairs have. Historically, this has been one of my 3 S tier chairs. I've come down off the mountain on the Embody a little bit. And one of the reasons is because of the backrest. For me, the 2 perfect backrests right now are going to be the Fern, like we discussed, and the Leap. And this one, while it does maybe some things that those don't, your inability to adjust or move or get rid of the lumbar at all is going to be probably the biggest deal breaker for most people with this chair. Because even me, I love the chair, and I think that going with the gaming version, if they still add a little bit more foam or not, I don't even know. I think it helps with that lumbar support kind of being plasticky. But even me, if I sit in this chair for 10, 12 hours in a day, at the end of the day, I'll start to feel it in my lower back. It's not like a hurting feeling, it's just kind of like, it's there. Like I know that something was up against my back for 10 hours type of thing. Do I absolutely love the chair? Would I buy one of these with my own money? 100%. Like if I was shopping for a chair, this one would be in consideration for me at my home office. I just can't put the backrest at S tier for that one reason. But A++, the closest you can get to S for me on this one. So I don't know where that puts us. Probably an A. Well, no, Greg had it at like a C. What'd you have it at?
You had a B,
I had a
right?
B. Yeah.
Ooh, this would be tricky. We'll probably put it at the bottom of the A's.
All right.
About right. We got to give RC here something, a shout out in the comments for an order for someone at BTOD. Maybe just a reference that there is a RC at BTOD already.
Let's go. Let's go. Okay, next up on the list, we also have some chairs. Oh my gosh, this is going to be a quick one. We don't even need to spend a lot of time on this one because we got to make up some time from us talking too long.
I'll go first. This is a F tier backrest. It doesn't support you from your lumbar all the way through the top because it kind of rolls me forward like this. You can see it's kind of weird how the headrest just forces you like this. This is literally, basically, this is as close as you can get to a balled up towel just shoved into your back all the time. I would recommend cutting this mesh and removing this. If you bought this chair, it's so bad. So it's got a metal frame. There's this F tier.
We love to do some surgeries on some chairs, and if you were going to get this chair, we'd recommend that you would remove probably the entire backrest and the arms and the seat, which leaves you with the base.
Just like a little
seat
stool.
Isn't horrible, and the recline is really good for the price. Other than that,
the lumbar's bad. I have tiered as well. What do you got?
Yeah, that's an F. I mean, I always say this about a jar fillet, which I think is actually worse, possibly, another IKEA chair. It's like two metal bars that go up the side, and then the mesh just wraps around it. I mean, it's just super uncomfortable. Again, we're putting this completely regardless of price. We're putting this below any other chair we've looked at today. So that tells you a lot.
Well, the best part is if you go to one of our videos where we said everybody's buying one of the IKEA chairs, but you shouldn't. Yeah. It is the most hate of any video that we've probably ever done, just because everybody who has an IKEA chair came into the post or into the video and mentioned that basically we were wrong about the chair. And I feel
I didn't know that a cheap furniture store had such diehard fans. Like the people
Very committed.
sticking up for a chair that probably costs $12.99 to manufacture in total is wild to me.
Well, that's where you're at right now. What is everybody? I know there's a bunch of people in here that have had the experience with this chair. You got to let us know. So, okay, next up on the list, we got the Haworth Soji. And this is an interesting thing. So I've always rated this chair right in the B range. I think it's just an above average chair overall. But the one area in the chair that I think is not great for me personally is the lumbar, where it becomes average. I don't know how to explain it. There's not a lot of lumbar there. It's just there. Like when you move it around, you can do whatever. It's just, I think the backrest is so firm that you just can't feel it. And I like more lumbar. So I'm going to go C. I'm going to go C+.
Yeah, I'm not quite as low on that, just because I think, as we've talked about with a lot of these chairs, it does have enough of the curve in the backrest that I think it's okay. It does feel like that. I totally agree that lumbar, that added lumbar piece doesn't make a huge difference, which is kind of unfortunate because it's a large, there goes my headrest again. It's a large system, like, so it can have flex. It's not like that rolled up towel, but at the same time, you just don't feel it that much. So it's going to be, I mean, overall, this is just like an all-around B chair, and I think the backrest might be one of the lower parts of it, so probably B- for me.
Well, for basically the same reasons that these guys said. I don't need to echo the sentiments, but one thing about this chair too is when you recline, the curve isn't pronounced enough to always support you through your lower back the whole way. Sometimes you kind of got to really scoot your butt back and then recline, and then you can kind of fix that problem. But yeah, I think it's an overall phenomenal chair. Backrest, I'd be at a B-. So.
I got to put this above the Refine though. So it's going to be in the low Bs.
The only reason the Refine is there is because of my
Yeah.
rating. All right, I threw everything off.
So we have to, if I could jump in here quick, we kind of have a chair that we realized we didn't have in the office here in the studio, but we got to at least give something so we can get it off of the bottom half of the tier list. Otherwise, it's going to sit there. And that's our neutral postures 8000. We kind of joke the reason this isn't here is because our sales guys just keep it and we just never get to see it. It's a heavier, bigger chair. Don't want to bring it in every time we talk about it. So it's tough to rank it when we can't even look at it. For me, it's probably going to be like a B+ chair, really padded, kind of a warmer experience. But you could check that chair. We'll drop it in the links if you want to take a look at it. We don't really have to talk about it much because we can't show it. But if you want a more thicker padded chair that does have some good lumbar, that neutral posture 8000 is something to look at.
The neutral posture 8000 is a solid product for sure. The backrest is one of the better features on it.
Yeah.
The recline function isn't. And so, you know, it's got amazing armrests, amazing headrest, and the backrest is also a nice backrest. And it has that hugging feeling.
Yeah.
So if you like that feeling, it definitely hugs you. But I would say that one again is B+ for me.
Yeah.
It's above average. It's not great. B tier, there you go. See, very simple. Okay,
Nice.
next up on the list, we've got the BTOD AEP. This is my creation. It's what happens when you use the seat from the Amia and put it on the Lamia to make the Lamia chair, which is a leap frame plus the Amia seat. Now this is the inverse of that. So we have the opposite with the Amia frame and then a leap seat. And this backrest, same thing. I'm going to give it the exact same score I gave the Amia because it is the exact same, and it's an A+.
Yeah, I'm going to be at the same exact score, A. No reason to restate everything that I said.
So I got one reason to change the rank. No, I'm just kidding. I wish I had one to make it more interesting, but yeah. So we're gonna have to drop that one in right next to the Amia up there. But we can maybe put it above, right? Because we can get a lower price. Or are we cheating there?
Oh, he's out of here. RC here. Take it easy, man. Thanks for coming back in. It's good to see you. Pesky work, always a problem in the middle of the day.
You shouldn't have got promoted. Then you could have spent more time on the stream with
there
us.
you go. Okay, Calla needs a chair.
So
Why don't you kick it off over there? I need to look at it for a little bit before I.
Well, I think that what they were going for with this chair was a little bit of a. I think they might have taken some inspiration from the Fern a little bit. Judging by the way the fabric looks, the way the backrest looks, it's kind of got the Fern look. I do think overall it's a pretty comfortable backrest, especially for the price. I know we're not supposed to always talk about that. The one thing that I do notice about this chair is that it's almost like a Mira or a Truly with like the jacket on it, like a plastic back chair that has a really thin layer of fabric. Like almost like if I took this layer of fabric off, it would look like a Mira chair because that's what it feels like. And so it's not going to be that soft experience. Like it looks like it's soft. Like if you're expecting it to feel like a Fern, it's not going to feel like a Fern. It's a more firm feeling overall because it's basically just a thin layer of fabric on plastic. With that said, I do think that it's supportive. You can see that when I recline fully, it does support me through the full recline. My shoulders do touch at the top. I just don't prefer kind of the firmness overall. So I'm going to be at a B- probably with this one.
Yeah, what I do like about it is it's a really big backrest. So for me, higher shoulders up there, I can really just, I never am going to really feel any hard edges or anything like that, which some of the other chairs, I'm always kind of on the edge of it. Definitely have tons of room on the knees, but Ryan's right. It is a more firmer experience, even though it doesn't look like it. It's like, you know, when you see that more quilted knit kind of look, you think it's going to just be a little more sink in padding, but it's not really there. So it's probably going to be a low B for me.
Yeah, this one, I think Ryan summed it up pretty good. It feels too stiff with the shell in there, and I can't get past that for it to be in the B range. I like where they were going with it. It also happens to be their most expensive chair too, and so it's kind of priced outside the other chairs. So for this one, I'm going to go C minus actually. I'm going to go C minus.
What did you have, Ryan? A C plus?
It's really nice.
It is.
And it's comfortable and it's really soft to the touch. It's just
You just need a little more padding. If you had a little more
thin
padding.
layer of padding in
Right.
here, this thing would be like a full tier better.
Yep. Agreed.
I had it at a B.
Oh, okay. So we'll go. I guess that puts it at the bottom of B.
A lot of chairs living in this B range here, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you say?
I had a
Really
B,
hard to
B
just
minus.
completely
Oh, did you say
torch
it
a
was the
backwards.
Herman Miller sale?
I did not sail that yet.
Got him.
This is the bright one. This is a gaming chair, everybody. Watch out. This is an actual gaming chair.
I know that Ryan is going to absolutely be able to crush the games with the green on there. This is a gaming chair.
Yeah, I know. High tier. You get that green.
So I think Ryan's going to probably rank this one higher than I would just because he fits in it better. I can already see him in the chair having the backrest fit his back. I am too tall. So just so everybody's on the same page, if you are above probably 5'11", 5'10" is probably the edge, you're going to start to feel the upper backrest poke into your shoulders. It's the quickest way to have it not be super comfortable. I'm going to score this though, based on the fact that one doesn't have the lumbar support. I like the lumbar support in the one that we have, the all black one. I think it does give good support, and the back has flex to it that I like. I just don't love that jabbing into my shoulders.
Yeah.
We'll go C tier because I know for a lot of people this is going to be good enough, but it doesn't fit me right.
Yeah, this is so hard because, yeah, for me, it's way off from fitting. I can kind of feel those top points on the top of the backrest just kind of digging into my back because it's just I'm too tall for this. So I say this all the time. I'll say it again. If they made a larger version of this chair, I probably would love it because like the Herman Miller Calla chair, which is a discontinued.
You love that chair.
I love it. And it is a poly back that has some flex. So it's similar, but again, it's because of my height. I'm just way too far away from that. And I prefer it with that lumbar. Man, if I'm totally honest, I'd probably say it's a D because of my size. If it fit me, I would be way higher. But I guess for my height, I have to say D.
See, it's more manageable for me.
Yeah.
For you, you're just above that point. So yeah,
Sure.
that makes sense.
This is a weird one because I'm not going to rank it at the score that I wrote down, just because I originally wanted to give this a C+ for similar reasons that these guys said, but there's no way that I would rather sit in the two previous chairs that I gave a B- over this one. Like I would 100% sit in this backrest over the Neza 100 times out of 100.
Yeah.
Does it have its faults, and am I probably giving it a little too much flack because it's a Herman Miller chair and it's $1,000, 100%. But for me, I'd be at a B tier in terms of comfort. Like even for me, I can't really do my patented Russian twist unless I'm just gonna do side to side. But as soon as you go like this, it's like, all right. You know, like this is just like a no-go. It's like right on your shoulders. But when I'm using the chair normally, I don't feel that. And then this is pretty soft material. It's like the rubber-like material, which is nice. And the lumbar support and lumbar curve is great. So yeah, I'd be at a B tier.
Makes sense.
Did you give it a boost because of the green color, or did that not
No.
affect your back support?
The black one's actually more comfortable because it's the one that
'Cause
we have.
the lumbar.
The added lumbar, I don't know if it's worth the price because I don't feel it a ton, but it gives it just a little bit. Just a little bit. I don't know what the upcharge is on it, but
So we got to be down in C here.
Haters are here. It's a fit thing, it's a fit thing for me. That's why it is what it is.
I want to like it, but
All right, next up we have, I don't see it out there. I feel like the Hulettle is missing.
oh yeah, the Hulettle I think got a little out of order, so maybe we might have to find that. We can jump to the Zodi first.
Yeah, we're gonna do the Zodi while we bring in the Hulettle. Now you stay in that chair. We're gonna do the Zodi. This is another one of those chairs where you, for the price, again, yeah, we've got the original out there, and then we've got the Zodi 2, which they just call Zodi now. I think that the Zodi 2, the current Zodi chair, is such a huge improvement. This is one of the ones where it's almost like the Aeron remastered, where they really focused on the things that needed to be fixed. But the backrest, the lumbar support on this chair is actually quite good. I would say that it could be better if it had a little more aggressive lumbar, but it has great upper lower back support. It misses a bit as I get deeper into the recline, just because it doesn't have really aggressive lumbar back there. You can adjust it, but I don't feel it a ton. But it's an easy A for me because it does have really good support. Again, it's almost like that hammocky feel with some extra juice with the lumbar. So
yeah, same for me. And again, I love that kind of flared, larger backrest. This is kind of one of those, to me, it's a very underrated chair just because it seems like people talk about the Fern more, and that's the one we probably talk about more. But the Zodi, it's also just a super nice looking chair. So it's kind of funny that it doesn't kind of become their more of the flagship that kind of Fern has become. But that backrest is just has the, you can kind of see even as Ryan moves in it, you can see some movement in it. You can flex a little bit. It, you know, people kind of get scared when they see plastic on chairs, right? Because they want to see like an Aeron that has the, well, I guess that's like a kind of plastic, right? More of a hard mix though. But by having some of these high-end plastics that give you some bend, gives you that, you don't have a hard frame like some of the chairs. You can still flex even though it's a mesh chair. So really like that. Lumbar, I probably like Greg if I could have a little more low down, especially yeah, in the recline. So it's still going to be an A for me.
Yeah, I went back and forth on this one for a long time. I really wanted to put this one in S tier. It's similar to the Embody for me, where it's like it just doesn't have what the Fern and the Leap do, but there's really not something that I could pinpoint to change in terms of the design or add to it to make it better. I mean, I just would have a really hard time that anyone would get this backrest and be uncomfortable in it or not like it.
Yeah.
The mesh is pulled over the frame. The mesh is flexible, or the frame is flexible. The mesh is soft. It's elastic enough to let you sink in a little bit, kind of like that hammock feel, but you won't feel the edges, which is awesome. The lumbar support, I love. It's one of the only chairs where you can get the lumbar low enough to be like sacral support, almost like the Anthros, like pelvic support, or like the Aeron Posture Fit SL, which is pretty rare. Like this range is incredible. Like it goes to the middle of your back all the way down to almost your tailbone. So God, the more that I talk about it, the more I want to put it in S tier. I just know deep down that I would always choose the Fern or the Leap over this one. So this is going to be an A++++ for me. But yeah, this is an awesome, awesome backrest.
So now do we have to decide, do we put this over the Fern in our rankings? Personally, I would pick the Fern over it.
but it's right
Greg
behind
would
it.
too. So we'll put it right
Yeah.
past the Fern.
It's a much more affordable option. I know that.
Yeah.
It's a much more straightforward design. It's just, I don't know. It's a safe design. It does everything really well. Which one is this one? The Haluddle?
We're back into the Haluddle, yeah.
The Haluddle.
We are back in the Haluddle. So this is one of those finds that I had going through Amazon like I do, and I actually have some more of them that we're maybe going to bring out here. Some of the new house, is that how you say it? I'm not sure if that's how you say it. We've got three of the new house chairs. Got that tilt tension loosened way up.
It doesn't have any.
It's way underneath there.
It's underneath, and it's probably because Frances was in the chair last and she loosened it up.
It's kind of a common theme, you know. You can tell who sat in a chair last based on how the tilt tension is.
High A, very fair, Michael says on that. Yeah, I think so too, Michael. The last chair, the Zodi, for sure. Okay, so I like this chair a lot, actually. This is one of those ones that I think it has really good support. Now, where it has a drawback, of course, is I could see it right now when Ryan's reclining. You can see it disappearing a bit as he gets into the deeper reclines. You can adjust. So a lot of chairs will have this naturally. You're going to have some separation, and so you have to adjust the lumbar. You have to make it more or less pronounced. You need to move it up and down, things like that. That's pretty common. But you can do it with this chair, which I like. It's got a nice big backrest. It's going to be very supportive for you. And for what the price is, under $200, pretty good. So it's probably, you know, I'm gonna go B+. I have it on here. I have B+ on this one. It feels like it might be a stretch, but if I'm looking at just the backrest, for me, Ryan is shocked by my
I'm shocked, I am.
but I like the lumbar on this one. So
I almost feel like I have to just give my proxy vote to Greg here because, in all honesty, I haven't spent enough time in this chair that I even feel comfortable rating it. What I do remember in the small amount of time I was in the chair is that I was pleasantly surprised overall. My expectations were pretty low, just knowing that it was a lower price chair, but that initial sit test was a lot better than I thought. So I would be shocked if I would go as high as a B plus, but since I haven't spent a lot of time in it,
Ryan's about to tank it.
I'm
Ryan's
actually
going to
the
take it
opposite
anyways.
because I was expecting big things based on the feedback from the initial like
Okay.
that we got from this, and the moment that I sat down and went like this, I just went oh, because like this lumbar,
Just falls off.
like it might be the most pronounced out of like the lumbars that feel like there's a like this lumbar to me feels more pronounced and even like more of a punch to the back than even like the Marcus, the IKEA chair, and it's not necessarily like the rolled towel because the pad is bigger. The pad is big. I mean, you can see it. It's like this tall,
Yeah.
but the entire pad is just smashing your back forward, and you can really feel it. And there's really no way you can move it around and adjust it. There's really no way to escape it. Like I would love to feel this backrest without that lumbar because when I sit in it, that's all that I can feel. And it does the thing to me where I can't really get my shoulders on the back all the time. And like Greg said, when I recline, my back separates at the bottom. And then it does have this with the frame where it's got the pronounced frame. They don't have necessarily some softness here to buffer it in. It almost like feels like it's sticking out and a little jabby. So yeah, I mean, I was at a D plus on this one. And so and the more that I sit in it here while we're in this room, I don't know if I can't pull this one up to the C tier. I gotta hold firm on this one. I'm gonna be at a D plus for the whole level.
D,
just for the backrest.
B
The arms
plus.
are pretty good. The seat's pretty good. Headrest is pretty good. Headrest is actually really good. I mean, if you wanted to bump it to the C tier because the headrest maybe that, but just straight back, I'm at a D plus.
I'm going to put this in the middle of C. Again, I haven't spent enough time to even rank it. Just to help you out if you want more info on some of these, Greg he has a video. It was really a good one. I bought top 5 rated office chairs on Amazon under $300. So I can drop the link in here even, but that's a really good video if you want to see some of these lower price chairs compared to each other.
All right, we've got the BTOD Acure leather, although the leather on this one doesn't really change the backrest so much as it does the seat experience. And with this one, it's a big chair, again, very big. I would say it has lower support. You can definitely feel it. It has a very tall backrest. It's wide. I don't fit in this chair as well as some people might fit in this, especially if you're taller. This is one of the few chairs that's actually really good for like up to 6'7" because it's that big. But I'm going to go B tier here. And the biggest thing for me is that it sits me up a little bit too upright in the upright position. Otherwise, it has amazing support through the whole backrest. It's just a little bit too upright for me, upright tasking.
Sure.
But it's got good consistent support through the whole back though, for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like, we've talked about some of the other chairs that it's hard to, I guess, find something that I really dislike about it, but yet I don't necessarily love it either. I guess the one negative I would maybe have is that it does have the harder frame, so you're not going to get the flexibility like you would in a lot of these other chairs, like the Zodi we just looked at. But, the Aeron doesn't have flexible frame, yet I still love that backrest. So I know that sounds inconsistent, but sometimes chairs make up for it in other ways. And like the Aeron gives you all this lower support through its posture fit system, so that's why it gives a bump. The Acure here, it does have an adjustable support. Ryan's moving it there, and what I like about that one is it does have that little pad on there, so it's not going to be a real hard, firm pushing into your back, but you can feel it. So I'm going to be at just probably a solid B for this. Again, I always am happy if a backrest gives me all that space for my shoulders too.
Yeah, this one is the Acure is always a tricky one because I'm a little bit too small for it. It's a little bit too wide for me. So when I get my arms and I move them, I can feel the frame on this one. And as much as I'd like to just put this in S tier because it's a BTOD chair and it's our own branded chair, but I just got to kind of keep it a buck. And the thing that I love the most about this chair is going to be the amount of adjustments you get for the price, the seat comfort you get with the price, and then the arms. Headrest is amazing. The one downfall that I have is going to be the backrest because it's just too big for me. And sometimes when I sit in the chair, because the backrest is it feels like it's a little bit taller. That's why when I first sat down in the chair, if you notice, I tried to adjust the back height because just naturally it felt too tall for me. So I tried to ratchet height adjustment. It doesn't have ratchet height adjustment. I just naturally did it because I wanted to move the backrest down just a little bit. So for me, just backrest alone with my size, I'm going to be at a C+. But if you were bigger than me or taller than me, you'd probably score it a little bit higher.
I mean, that makes total sense because it's a big chair.
Well, I have the seat at the lowest height right now.
Right.
And I'm 5'9", my feet are flat on the ground. Like if I was any shorter, I would 100% have to use a footrest just to sit in the chair. So
yeah, we don't call it we don't necessarily talk about it as a big and tall chair, but it's kind of on the border of that because of the sizing.
Kind of like a bridge to a big and tall chair almost.
Yeah.
More tall than big.
B minus, we decided. Yeah,
B minus on it. All right, that seems fair. It's unfortunate that it couldn't hit the S tier being a BTOD product, but we got to try better next time. Next time we do a live stream, we got to figure out how we can meet up and make that thing an S tier. We'll get on it right away.
Gonna add ratchet height for Ryan somehow.
Ratchet height would have got him to S tier?
Yeah.
All right. We've got the Steelcase AMQ. This is a Ryan video that he did with these. We found some Steelcase chairs that are not really Steelcase chairs that are, because AMQ was acquired by Steelcase. These are some of their more affordable chairs. This is actually one that I haven't spent a ton of time in, so take this with a grain of salt. But I did like it when I sat in it for some time, and I did notice that it doesn't have anything really glamorous about the backrest. It's just one of those ones that has a mesh back, that the lumbar that moves up and down is pretty wide, like high, or not wide, tall. So the coverage is good on it, I noticed. And I didn't feel like it was aggressive, but I felt like it was there, and I felt like it was always there, which is a really nice feature. There's a lot of things about this chair that I don't like, and this was one of the things that I did like. So I gave this one a B tier. I think it's actually quite good for what it is.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with Greg. This is a very new chair to the office, so we just haven't been able to spend a lot of time in it. Greg or Ryan will have a little, probably more deep take than we will. But again, I'm always happy with a mesh backrest that has some flexibility, and you see that in the Zillow chair or Silo.
What does it sell for, Ryan?
Zillow.
$499, I believe.
That's pretty good. So for that price,
$499. There were two. This one was $499, and I believe the Bodhi was $449.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't get the Bodhi. The Bodhi is not what you want. The Bodhi is.
Don't get the Bodhi. That's all you need to know.
Bodhi would be like a D tier. This one, I would probably overall chair, I'd probably put it in the B tier. And one of the biggest reasons is because of the backrest. Like Greg said, nothing fancy, but in my opinion, it might sound weird with how much we kind of give the Soji so much props. I think that this is just almost a more comfortable version of the Soji backrest. It comes with you more. The curve is more pronounced on the lower end, so you feel the lumbar support a little bit more through the whole recline. You do have some flexibility. The mesh sinks in enough, and it's got some softness to it. Usually with these cheaper chairs, like on the, you'll have like a cloth mesh or really kind of coarse mesh. This is like elastic, and it has some softness to it. So this is a chair that I was pretty impressed with. I told the guys, like, I might have a new chair that I can recommend for best chair for under $500 with this one, and the backrest is one of the reasons. Does it do anything crazy or fancy? No, but I mean, no complaints. So yeah, I'd be ready to B tier with the back.
Yeah, it actually looked pretty good too. So a decent find for sure, and not one that most people consider or even really think about at all.
Another one that we just had put the video out. So
yeah,
which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
All right, Branch Ergo Pro. Now, if you were one of maybe, I don't know, 60% of the best of lists here on the internet, this would probably be S tier, just because it has to be. But unfortunately for me, one thing I noticed with this one, upright is actually pretty good. So I give it a B. In the upright position, I find it to be fairly comfortable there. When I recline, it's not good for me at all. And anything in between there, not so great. And so because of that, I'm just going to go C+ on this one. It's actually one of the better parts of the chair, to be honest, because this is one of their more expensive chairs.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think I'm going to go C+. Seems fair.
This is one where it's like because I made the video for this one when it first came in, it's probably over a year ago now. And I probably was like almost too positive because I was so happy with how much they improved it from the original version. Because the original one, you just sank right through the mesh, you hit the frame right away, and this is a much better version of that. I still can actually feel it a little bit. It's kind of one of those you want to stay a little more centered on the chair, or you might feel a little bit of that frame. But it is, like Greg says, one of the better parts of the chair. So it's, for me though, it's still going to be just a C. Again, I'm looking at some of the other chairs on the list, and I can't really go. I don't want to push it above some of the other low B ones, so it's going to be a C.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Greg, where the thing that I like the best about, I don't love this chair overall, but the thing that I do like the best is probably going to be the backrest. I've read a lot of comments on this chair that people think that the lumbar can be a little bit pokey or intrusive, which has not been my experience at all. I think it's a pretty good combination of giving you decent support while also having some padding, so it's not like plastic poking into you. So I think they did a pretty good job there. And then the backrest isn't overly wide in areas. It's not plasticky in areas, so I think the headrest is decent. Maybe that would bump the score a little bit, but I'd be at a B- overall for the back.
So where's that put it? Like high C? Must be.
Yeah,
like a
high
plus.
C, low B there.
Oh wow. We've got the Steelcase Leap. This is Ryan's ultimate chair, and honestly, one of my faves as well. So there's not much to say here other than, I mean, this thing does so much so well that people like who are Ryan, who have to do certain things to the chair to get it to fit them, love it, and then people like me who just love a ton of support have it. Fits a really wide range of people comfortably. It's an S tier all day in the backrest. It's one of the best, if not arguably the best for most people. Remember, the Anthros chair is very specific, I think, and Ryan pointed that out, and I think you did as well. You know, people who need that specific support and are okay with having, they're just basically forced into good posture to change their behavior. Like Ryan said, you can kind of cheat with this one a little bit, or has said he likes a chair he can cheat in. This is that.
Yeah, and it's also you can move around in the chair, not just with the flexibility, but it's like a chair that it doesn't force you to sit perfect all the time. You can kind of shift your position, and you're still going to be supported. You know, obviously we're going to encourage you want to sit as ergonomic as possible, but when you do move around, which I mean I do all day, I'm sitting with my leg under me, cross-legged, whatever it is, it still stays really comfortable, really supportive. You can dial in that tension. I know Ryan has a different view on the lumbar as a whole, but I like to crank up that lumbar support, move it in just the right spot on my back. So for me, it's an S. It's going to be an S.
Yeah, this is an easy S tier for me. For some reason, I've been talking about the chair like we already scored it in this list. Yeah, this is one of my few S tier picks in this list. I've already touched on the Fern being S tier for me. The Leap I would take over the Fern. There's no chair on the planet that I would sit in over the Leap, and one of the biggest reasons is because the backrest, and this is a chair that I use everywhere. So it's not like it's just good for me because I'm sitting in the office all day long for 8 hours a day. I use this thing at my home office, the conference room, when we do live streams. So in my opinion, this can do it all. And I get some people love the headrest edition, or they want more of maybe like a rocking feeling when you recline, like a Herman Miller chair will give you. But just from a pure back support standpoint, this is it right here. I mean, I had back pain for years, like literally years before we started getting into ergonomic chairs and digging into them and buying them and testing them. I got the Leap. I sat in it for the first 30 days they were hellish because my body was adjusting, my back was sore, whatever. Once I got through that period, I have, in that short amount of window until I tested the Leap, I'd thrown my back out a bunch of times. I was constantly seeing chiropractors, massage therapists, all that. Since I've used a Leap, none of that. And so I'm not trying to act like a medical professional or say this is going to remove all your back pain, you'll never have back pain again. But for me, this chair fixed my back pain. And so that's why I recommend this chair. That's why I use this chair. I will stand by this chair with everything that I own because I seriously believe that this is the best chair that you can get for back pain. So S tier, S plus, God tier, whatever you want to put it in, that's where I'm at for this.
Ryan God tiered a chair. That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Put it at the top.
Let's go.
I think you, excuse me, you bring up a good point too. I mean, we can really only talk from our experience. Like that's why sometimes we get questions, will this fix this specific issue I have? And it's hard for us to say. We're not medical professionals,
right.
but
yes,
we can.
It will.
Okay, it will. Greg is, I guess,
I'm willing.
He's the president. He can say that, but we can really talk from our experience. And like Ryan said, he has the experience of that actually fixing the back pain. So that's why we can really, support that. And yeah, it's an amazing chair. So
I mean, we ranked. It's so funny because that is a chair that we ranked #1 across like all the chair. There was a period of time where we had everybody in the office ranking for different things. The Leap was always the #1 chair. it just wasn't even close. And so that's how we got into the refurbishing side of it, because we had hoped to be able to sell it new. Steelcase really doesn't give it out very often to people, even though I think if you're watching, we'd be a great fit. But they didn't. And so we had long conversations. They ended up going nowhere. And so we got into the refurbishing business so that we could provide what we feel is the best option out there. And it just so happens that it's an incredible value when you go that route. And it's been awesome since. So again, one of the better chairs, or if not best chair in Ryan's case, for most people. I think that's the biggest thing. It's always hard online. You know, most people can't see these chairs in person. So that's a win for sure. Okay.
Yeah, we had a question on the Aeron. I mean, we're getting to that pretty soon, so maybe
Aeron's coming. Yep.
We'll hit that question for sure.
All right, Vera chair. It is very good for sure. And this one is, for me, this chair is a S-tier upright chair with the fit for me personally. But unfortunately, I do recline in my chair. I like to recline in my chair and kick back. In this one, it drops off. It's pretty significant when it drops off in the lower part of the back to the point where it drops the chair down. So if it was better there, or I could adjust it in a way to kind of get it to fine tune, I would put it in the S tier for sure. But still, great value, I think. I go A tier.
Yeah, this is, again, the one that we kept bringing up earlier, that if you want a chair that has the built-in curve to it, the Vera just nails it so well. Doesn't have any added lumbar support built into it. You don't really need it because it just seems to always be hitting you in the right spot. Again, when I look at the tier list, I'd love to put this even higher, but like the Zodi, the Fern, to me, they have a little advantage just because some of the flexibility in the frame. But again, the fact that we're even comparing that against those chairs that are over $1,000 says a ton about this Vera chair. I'm going to put it right below those two chairs, so it's going to be a high A for me as well.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the unicorns in the list. If you're looking for best value pick, it's going to be, this is one of them for sure. This is like the Ticova, where it's going to be sitting in a tier that's above its price. It's going to be surrounded by chairs that are $1,000, and right now you can get this thing for like $500-$600. It's a crazy, crazy good chair for the price. Does it do everything perfect? No, but in my opinion, the backrest is the best part about the chair. It does almost everything. It doesn't have an additional lumbar support, which some people might want, but the curve is so pronounced and the mesh is so elastic. Like, it's some of the springiest mesh that you're ever going to use, so you can really sink in. And I think that's how it does such a good job of accommodating such different types of body styles with no lumbar support addition. The frame isn't super flexible, but it's also designed in a way where it's not really getting in the way. Like, I'm never hitting my arms on it. My shoulders aren't tall enough to hit it at the top. I mean, the more that I talk about this, the more that it should maybe be ranked a little bit higher. But I know that I would, like Robert said, I'd rather sit in a Zodi backrest, or probably even maybe like an Ergohuman backrest. So I'm going to be at like an A-A, like right there. So wherever it would fit in the list. But for me, it's an A-tier backrest, just wherever you'd want to slot it in against the other chairs.
Mid. Probably mid.
Yeah, it's a great backrest.
Yeah, we'll put it
Biggest reason to buy the chair for sure.
right after the Amia, I think, is about right. All right. Just the Dexley coming out.
This is a spectrum here. We went from maybe best value to maybe a recommended do not buy here.
A lot of haters in the building.
This is a...
Who
Listen,
did the?
we
did you do
have
the
chairs
review
on
on
the
this
list
one?
that don't have a lot of redeeming characteristics. This backrest isn't quite as terrible as the seat. This is an F- seat.
F-.
The backrest is probably going to be, gosh, it's a D or a D-, D+. It's somewhere in the D range, depending on how you're going to sit in it or how you're using it. But the lumbar is pretty pronounced. It's not quite as pokey as some of the other chairs. The frame, though, is always there. Like, the frame is just there. You can't avoid it unless you're just like this and you're just hanging out, which if you're a very, very disciplined sitter, you know, maybe you could get some value out of this. Me, there's no way I could use this chair. I'm all over the place in my chair. So for me, it would probably be like a D.
I feel like Ryan has PTSD from reviewing this chair because he just like got in it and just right away. He didn't even wait to tell you, like, you didn't even want to have our opinion come out because he's just like, I have a huge opinion on this. I don't like it, which I mean, it is what it is, right? It's the whole chair isn't great, but I do give the back a little bit of redeeming quality. So
All right.
I think that Ryan might have swayed me off my S tier, and I'm going to go down from an S tier now. So does that mean I'm at an A? No, probably not. I think I'm going to go I think it's about a C minus for me. It's better than D tier because there's chairs that deserve that. And like Ryan said, I do like the lumbar. I think it's comfortable. It gets me in the chair. I do sit in it. If I move around, like Ryan said, it's kind of annoying. I mean, the chair itself isn't great, but I'll give the backrest a C minus. That seems fair.
This or the hiking? I mean, it's this.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at. Like, so right now we're kind of looking at some comparisons of where this would drop. You know, would I put this above the Seahoo M18?
Yeah.
I would. Yeah. So that's why to me, it's probably a low C. It's just like Brian said, it's so restrictive, and I like to really shift around in my chair a lot, you know, especially if you're going to sit in this chair for 8-10 hours, you're going to feel really locked in, and oh boy, I mean, the seat's going to be a real problem trying to do 8 to 10 hours. That's kind of the deal breaker.
Few chairs where the seat might affect your back comfort.
Yeah.
Because it like compresses your spine. Like I can feel it right now after getting up. It compresses your spine in a way where you're like hunched over doing this.
Yeah.
So like some of these chairs you do kind of need to talk about the seat comfort, because if the seat comfort is just compressing the lower part of your back, then like that's not good either. So yeah, for back support, back comfort, I'd probably just steer clear of this one.
Yeah. All right. We'll go at the very bottom of C.
I think you should probably roll it into D. I think Ryan has
just above the Seahoo.
I do believe that Ryan has made his case, and I believe my work gave me a terrible chair. Is it worse than what you just saw, the Dexley?
That's probably the biggest problem in the U.S. is people have chairs that they've been given for free.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of employers out there that don't give their staff good chairs. And
or they try to, and they get 500 Series 1 chairs.
True.
Yeah.
And it's like, oof.
Yeah, what chair did you get, Michael? That's probably the better question.
It might have been a Dexley or a Hiken.
You get a Dexley, you get a Hiken, you get a Dexley, you get a Seahoo. That's when you know your employer.
And it's also like, what
it.
if you're a little bigger? You still got a Dexley or a Hiken probably, and you had to just deal with it. So.
Yeah. All right. We've got the Ergohuman Extreme. You always have to say it at the end because it is so extreme.
Can
Ryan,
John do like a sound bite on that so you can just hit the button?
I was originally at an A-, but like the good thing about the kind of the live testing is you get to compare them like back to back, like I've just sat in them all. I'd rather have this backrest than the Amia.
Interesting.
Wow, that's a hot take. If we had a sound for a hot take,
it's so soft. Like I forget how soft the mesh is on this one. Like the leather one is really good on the Gen 2. Like I really like that one, but I think I might like the mesh even a touch more. I'm just gonna be at a straight A with this one.
So
great
really,
lumbar, great upper shoulder support. It's not plasticky through the entire recline range. You can see I'm getting support too, which is awesome. And it's got a deeper range than all the other chairs, and you're still getting support. So
and you can adjust it too. It's another adjustable one, so they did improve it.
Yeah, if I could, it's the seat for me. But the back support on this one is incredible. Like
so, what did you have
even A+?
What did you have the Ergohuman? Would you put this over or?
If I had the Ergohuman at an A, this would be an A+.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is a little bit less aggressive on that backrest.
Touch better.
I think it's a little more of a natural,
slope.
It's a better slope, where you don't necessarily feel it as much. So for you that doesn't like the lumbar quite as pronounced, it makes a ton of sense that you'd like it better. For me, I put the Ergohuman just a tad higher than this. So for me, it's still going to be an A, but a little bit under. Yeah, again, the problem with this chair, and it's not even really a problem, but is that it has the mesh seat, which a lot of people are not going to like. But if you want that all mesh seat, this is just a great all mesh chair.
If you want an Aeron and don't want to spend $2,000, get this.
Yeah, for sure. So if it's going to be right in the middle of the A's for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go A-. I think I don't really need to say it again. Everybody said it. It isn't enough lumbar to match the Ergohuman for me, which makes sense.
All right.
All right, we've got
down there.
We've got the Hon Alter chair. I believe this is one of the least expensive Hon chairs that you can buy. I'm not aware of any, as far as like what you can buy as a just general consumer. I don't know if they have, it's like under 200, or it's about, no, 299, 289. It's not great.
It feels slightly higher quality than the Dexley.
Right. Yeah. So, and that's probably, I'm going to give it a C tier just because it is more comfortable than that and it has decent support. It's just going to be I think when you give C tier, it's just a meh. It's just there. It's not, it's meh.
Yeah. And it's like,
is that right?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's meh, like a D.
There we go. Jeez.
It's just okay.
It's probably a C.
I feel like you could sit in this chair and probably develop some back pain over time, depending on how you sit in it. But if you sit in it the right way, it's going to be a major improvement over some real bad chairs, though.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like what's your letter where it shifts from being like helps you with back pain or gives you back pain.
Well, that's the thing. Some of these chairs might just give you more back pain.
Yeah. So I don't think this chair is going to give you back pain, but it's not going to like help if you need more support. It's not going to be like the one that you pick because you're trying to solve some back pain issues, in my opinion. So that puts it in a C range again, because it's just kind of in the middle. It's not really, it certainly wouldn't be the one I'd pick if I'm trying to fix some issues.
This is one of those chairs where it's hard to like give it a fair score, because if you just took the backrest off the chair and you were just going to rank the backrest, it's a completely different score than when you have to factor in how uncomfortable the back of the seat is and how it reclines an inch and a half.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, that's the full recline.
Yeah, I mean, it's the weirdest recline I've ever seen. And I don't know if it's just to make it so that it doesn't break.
Yeah, I don't. This is a weird chair for Hon to sell under their name, if I'm being honest.
You'd rather have the diaper
like a
chair?
Hon chair?
The diaper chair?
Well, that chair was significantly more comfortable than this one.
For only $100 more.
Backrest alone, just backrest alone, standalone, I'd probably be at like a C plus.
Again, C is, I'm all day C on it. C minus.
We'll go right in the middle of C tier there.
There's nothing exciting about that. So most people, I think you probably, if you're worried about back support, you probably want to steer clear of C, would be my guess.
Yeah.
You want to get into a B tier or up if you really want to have good back support.
Yep.
Speaking
and we
of
do have
it.
some in similar price
chairs that
ranges
might
there.
give you more problems than fix them.
Yeah, well, so this is, I mean, just to jump
ahead,
in,
Robert.
I did the video of this one a long time ago, and this is one where when I first sat in it, I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, I actually kind of liked it for a second. But then Ryan described this, now it's like almost 2 hours ago probably, but about how some chairs they have where you tense up your back or your core to try to kind of fix issues that are happening. And that's exactly what happened to me in this chair, because you don't really have that middle back support. You have these kind of, bouncy lower back supports, but then you don't have the, Greg or Ryan almost went down, but then you have this gap where you just have like no support. So that's why I always felt like I was kind of tightening up my core to try to compensate for not having support all the way through my back. So this is one where I gave it the chance. I tried to get through the break-in period because I know that happens. I think I spent enough time. I feel like I gave it the long enough run that I could, and I still could not get past that. So for me, I have to go F.
Wowie, F tier. Folks, he's F tiered this chair in the back support. And I'm going to tell you what, it's like this. This is how my back is, right? It feels like I have to go on. So just for it almost, it feels like you're right. Like, I don't know how to explain that. Like you feel like your lower part is pushing out kind of and your upper's pushing out, but your middle's somehow fallen and sunken in for arguably one of the most awkward sitting experiences that has support in weird places.
Yeah.
I mean, I have it at a D tier, but I'm wondering if I maybe gave it a little bit.
I almost feel like guilty that I feel like I was too positive in my review of this chair.
It's just one of the most awkward chairs ever probably created.
Yeah.
Like,
going
out of
D
all
tier.
the chairs that have come through our office, aside from the All 33, this might be one of the biggest WTF chairs that we've ever gotten. because like nothing about this chair is good. Like the armrest, like
That's such a
who
bad
would
thing
do
there.
this?
Yeah.
Like you can't lock these. This is your life all day long in this chair. But focusing on the backrest, what the guys are talking about, first of all, this is the recline. Let me just touch on this, why this chair is just unpurchasable. This is the recline. Like there's no tension. So like if you touch the back, you're all the way back. Like there's no using the recline. You are either using it in one of the 3 locked positions or you're falling out of the chair. And so when you put it in the second position, which is like one of the maybe usable positions, this is being pushed in, your shoulders are being pushed down, and so you're doing this. Like that's the position that the chair forces you in, like this. And so you're always fighting this by trying to like go like this. But when you go like this, you hit your shoulders on this and your arms on the frame. And so it's like you want to do this and you're just forced to like, nope, you're gonna work like this in like a hunched back position. And then your arms can't be supported, so then it affects your shoulders because you have to scoot your arms forward to avoid the bump. And now your shoulders are tension on them from improper typing. Like this is a chair that will 100% introduce problems that you never had in your life.
All right, I'm gonna go F tier. All right, Ryan, you've sold me on the F tier.
This is F tier, especially for this is like a $700 chair.
It's probably more now with everything being more expensive.
That said, it's still better than the Marcus. Maybe
It's different.
different
Problems.
F tier for different reasons.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
So I would recommend that one. I saw this on Facebook ads in my face.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I mean, that's probably what they were hoping for. They were hoping to kind of surprise you with, whoa, what are these like flexible moving pieces? But
Well, the good news is that we're going to redeem, what is the F tier with I would call this the mesh chair that everybody has been trying to copy since it was first introduced, which is a fair take on this, right? And it's the
No one's
Aeron.
willing to invest $10 million of R&D and tooling to do it. So.
Right. The backrest on this chair, outside of maybe the upper portion of it, like the shell of the frame, is exceptional. It's probably my second favorite part of the chair besides the tilt. And so this one is an S tier. I love the Posture Fit SL on here. It gives really good support. The thing you'll notice about this chair is one of the best chairs that can be used upright and in a recline position because the support is identical in every position. And so you have to boost it because of that. You just feel that support the same through the whole recline.
yeah, and it does have the all aspects of the chair lend to it because of that. For that reason, the arms, how they work together. You can put the arms really low, which again I'm a big fan of. Helps keep your body in the right position. For me personally, I prefer to be in the C size chair for that reason, just to have a little more space on my back, have a little more seat depth. But they give you the option to do that, which is amazing. You get to get the small, medium, or large sizes. So for me, with the C size chair, S tier chair.
Yeah, this is one of those. I don't know. The backrest on this one, it'd kind of be. I'd be maybe a bit of a hypocrite to put this one in S tier because it's got the hard frame, and I focus so much on chairs being so flexible. But the backrest on this chair, aside from the frame being firm, does everything the best. Like the Posture Fit SL system with the sacral support, it's got a pad on there. It's crazy flexible, but it still gives you support. So no matter if you're reclined or forward, you like a lot of tension, not a lot of tension, it's going to give you good support. The mesh is the best mesh in the business by far, not even close. It's probably why most chairs can't replicate this chair because the companies just aren't willing to pay for the pellicle mesh because it's expensive, but it's what really makes the chair. Because if you didn't have this mesh and allowing it to be so flexible, you wouldn't have any of the movement in the chair and it would feel like a lot of other chairs. But because the mesh is so flexible, you can actually move in the chair regardless of the frame being firm. And then like the guy said, the recline keeping you in literally the same exact position. There's a reason that this is the Aeron. The only reason I ever knock this chair down is because I don't love the seat frame. I don't think you have the same problem on the backrest. I'm at an A+ on the back for the Aeron.
So, question came in, Live and Proof. Just a reminder, if you can show me the trick to finding the sweet spot with the rocking mechanic. I feel like I can't find the sweet spot, like I need to use too much force.
So I always just get it to the point where it feels like I'm using too much force, and then just turn it like a quarter turn. Like the Aeron is one of the only chairs on the market where you can turn it 1 revolution and you will feel a difference. And so like for right now I'm at the perfect spot where I don't have to engage my core. I don't have to do anything. I just have to lean back a little bit and it goes back, and I come forward a little bit and it comes forward. Everyone can find this position guaranteed. The harmonic tilt is incredible. Just find something that's close and just turn it a half turn or a quarter turn. Try it again. People, I think, are used to chairs that you have to crank out in a ton. Like when you've seen me climbing under these chairs, I turn it like 30 times and it moves like this much more. That's not the way that it is with the Aeron. So just get it close and just little tiny turns until you dial it in, and you'll find this sweet spot right here where you can literally just do this all day long. And that's one of the biggest reasons I don't use the Aeron.
Just a note though, make sure you have the remastered chair, because the remastered, I have a video up where I did like 200 turns to get to the other end of the spectrum. And I think a lot of people don't realize on the old version, you have to crank on it forever, and they don't realize that you can keep going. They fixed it on this one.
The old version, you can also never achieve a tension where you can use the full recline. So that's one of the things that they fixed on this one. On the old chair, you had to pick between either being able to do it from back to middle easily, and then you'd kind of struggle to get it up, or from forward to the middle easily, and then you'd have to struggle to push it back. The old system didn't have a tension where you could just put it in one spot and it'd be smooth through the whole range. That's one of the biggest improvements they made on this one. So if you have a classic, you won't be able to do it, unfortunately. And if you're shopping for the refurbished chairs, they're almost always classic, so watch out for that. Just make sure it's a newer one that's created in like 2016 or it's newer, or they call it remastered.
What about a new open box from 96?
A new open box.
A new open box from 30 years. Don't buy that.
Yeah,
if you know, you know.
I mean, for the record, how many chairs have we shown already so far? The chair that sits at my desk over there, it's an Aeron.
Yeah.
I mean, I absolutely love it. So
We have a lot of Aeron chairs. We have a lot of chairs.
we have a lot of chairs. Yeah.
All right, this one's going to surprise some folks. It hasn't been in a lot of videos lately, but it is the Humanscale Freedom chair, which I'm really curious to see where Ryan puts this.
I know this might be one of our biggest gaps between, but
yeah.
we'll
I didn't
find
know
out.
how to score this one. Are we including the headrest as part of the backrest or no?
One of my takes on this is that if you want to have the best experience in this chair, I would forego the headrest, because I think it does more to impact it negatively than it does positively for the back specifically. Ryan or Robert is clearly not agreeing with me, but it's a neck crinker with that headrest and makes it difficult to sort of be in a comfortable reclined position, fully reclined. So the thing I like about this chair, it is Humanscale doesn't have an adjustable chair. However, this chair is adjustable. The backrest moves up and down, so it has a sliding adjustment on it, which is fairly easy to slide up and down. If you don't have the headrest, of course, it kind of feels like it gets in the way a little bit. But you'll notice when you recline in this chair, you do have to move it, or I do at least, to get that right support. The back portion also pivots like this too. So Ryan will kind of show how it pivots. So it really pushes up in the lower part of the back. So one of the things I've noticed about all of the better chairs from Humanscale, the different smarts and stuff like that, they have like that pivot action, and it really feels good in your lower back, especially when you recline. They're some of the best chairs, I think, in a recline position for lower support, but the headrest kind of ruins it for me. With all of that said, I'm going A tier with this one. I really like the backrest on this, especially if you can forego the headrest. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be totally on the opposite side of that, where I want that headrest. That's why I like the chair so much. I don't know if it's maybe just however my size is or my makeup or whatever, that for me, that headrest doesn't necessarily crink my neck. It just puts me in the right position that I can still look at my monitor. Now, if I were wanting to like totally relax back and just kick back, maybe I wouldn't like that, because then it's like forcing your head forward. But as a chair, working at an office or even gaming, and you want to be reclined but still have your head focused on the screen, I love it. And other things Greg mentioned with the height that can change. It has that pivoting kind of into your back as you move around. Has arms that go low enough, which I really like. This chair does have some other issues, like the arms are kind of wide. There's some other things that maybe I can understand people not liking, but for back support, it's really high for me. It's not going to hit S tier, but it's going to be kind of a high A.
My problem with the chair is that I would have a hard time scoring it without the headrest. Because I think that's kind of the whole point of the chair. Like, I would never want this chair without the headrest. I can tell you that. If the headrest wasn't here and it was just the backrest with just the seat, I would definitely recommend a different chair. This is kind of one of those chairs where it's almost like the Anthros chair, where if you're going to treat it more like a medical device and you do have severe back pain or an issue, that neck pain, something you're trying to solve, and you are willing to use the chair properly, and you're willing to sit in the chair properly, the way that you should with the headrest adjusted, supporting your neck, I do think that it's going to help most people with back pain, back issues. I think that's what it's designed for. It's kind of the original kind of Anthros chair, right? I mean, it's the closest chair to a medical device until Anthros came along. You just have to be willing to sit like that all the time. And for me, I don't like that way of sitting. It's not comfortably on my neck. And as I've said throughout the stream, I move around a ton, and I'm a cheater sitter. So like a lot of time I'm just sitting like this, or you can't really do that very well on the Freedom. And so I just have a difficult time scoring it, because if I was just gonna give it a score based on my preferences, it probably wouldn't be a fair score for the chair. But if you were going to use it the way that it's intended to be used, the way that Robert uses it, I could easily see this being an A or even an S tier chair for you. And I think that's why so many people do love it, but I also see why so many people hate it. Because I personally could not use this chair. So for me, I would be at like a C plus B minus on this chair. I think that's probably a fair ranking, but I think that a lot of people would probably like it more than me, and I think a lot of people might put it in like a D tier. So just a tough chair to score.
Question came in: how does the auto tension compare to the Cosm and the recline?
Well, I think that so with the Freedom, you're not going. The beautiful thing about the Cosm and Herman Miller chairs in general is that they are almost promoting movement through their recline system. So the Cosm has a very similar recline system to the Aeron and the Embody, where it's very smooth, you get a deep recline, it's super easy to do. For me, I can use the full range of it without engaging my core, and so that's a phenomenal recline system. That's not really what Humanscale does. Humanscale has more of a recline like Steelcase, where it's more of like a static recline. So as I go back, it kind of stays in position nicely, but you're not gonna be rocking in this chair. There's no rocking, you can see that when I move back, the seat's not dropping down, there's no rocking motion here. So that's what I mean. If you're a disciplined sitter and you're looking for a static style sitting without a ton of flexibility, because the Leap, you could argue, is similar, where it's a static style chair, but it's so flexible everywhere that you can move wherever you want. You can't do that in the Freedom. It's not flexible like that. So if you're willing to sit like this and you're going to key like this, it's a phenomenal chair. If you don't want to do that, then I'd go in a different direction.
The irony of it being called the Freedom and not having any freedom.
Well,
wow.
I don't think they thought of that one.
Well, I thought that's why they named it.
This chair's pretty old.
All right, so
3 more, and yeah, we'll break down some of those other Libernovo chairs when we get to that one next too.
Ryan's back just barked at him.
Yeah.
And here's the thing with Secretlab chairs. Okay, they're very firm.
Oh God.
They're very flat, and I know that they introduced the lumbar in here to give you some lumbar, but this back is so firm and so straight. It's just, it's not
Unusable.
good. What's that?
For me, it's unusable.
Yeah, it's too hard. It's unfortunate. And so for me, I was going to give it, remember, I'm Road to Redemption on these tier lists, but this is one of the places that I just can't. This is in the seat, which is what, oddly enough, 90% of the chair. It is an F tier, unfortunately. So it's just too uncomfortable for me. I can't use this one. I've tried so long. I've really tried to use this chair. We've even had other people sit in it. They're trying to sit in it to break up the firmness of it, because that's been said. If you sit in it long enough, I mean, you must have to sit in this thing for every day or every hour of the day for 17 years. Our chair has been sat in for so long, this one specifically, and we cannot get it to loosen up.
Yeah, and even if you do break it in more, it would be the seat more so, not the backrest. The backrest is
There's not enough foam in the back for the back to break in.
Yeah,
that's the problem with the chair, is that you have a metal frame surrounded by really like high density foam, and there's not enough of it. And so you have a frame that cannot flex, cannot move, surrounded by hard foam that makes it even less flexible and just bigger in spaces. So like the bolsters you can't really move outside them. You have to stay here. Your shoulders have to stay here. You can't move around at all. And the backrest itself does not put your spine in an S shape. Like, yes, they put in an integrated lumbar support as a selling point, in my opinion, but it solves some of the lumbar problem, but it introduces a new problem of your upper back not being supported because the backrest is completely flat. It has every other ergonomic chair you see, even if it's like a $100 ergonomic chair, is gonna have some type of S shape or curve in the back to accommodate your spine. None, like none on these. That's the whole thing with gaming chairs. That's why they just can't be ergonomic. And so like back support on this one, I don't think it's as bad as the couple others that I've ranked in F, so I'm gonna go D-, but I just, for the price that you're paying, like you need, I mean, they sell it as an ergonomic gaming chair. It's not, and it's an expensive gaming chair. So it's like a hard pass on this one.
I feel like there's a clear difference between this and what is the Fractal, even though they are very similar with their straight back and firmness. There's a huge difference between the sitting in them, and it's a sittable and unsittable comparison, really.
Yeah, and kind of like Ryan was saying, the Fractal has a little bit of a S. Even though it's pretty flat, it has a little bit more than what the Titan has. That is that just flat, and then, yeah, you give a little bump with the lumbar. But we recently shot a video where we're comparing this to some other ergonomic chairs. You have to see that one coming out. And I was like sitting in it, and I was like, all of a sudden, I was like, oh, I almost forgot that this had lumbar tension. So I went to dial it up and I'm like, oh, it already was dialed up. So it's not like it, to me, it's not like all of a sudden by dialing in the lumbar tension, I had a bunch of support. So again, it's not as low as some of those F tier chairs for me because it's not as problematic as like the Seahoo or something. So I'm going to go bottom of D tier. So
wow. See, look at Roto Redemption. Everybody except for me on that one.
Not quite a F.
Here we go.
Oh, okay.
All right, maybe I'll jump in here
maybe,
unless you want to take it away. But
go for it.
So we have a lot of Libernovo chairs in the house here. So you could see out there, Ryan's already sitting in the Pro.
Jesus.
Are we showing Ryan right now?
I always forget how big the recliner
deepest
is.
recline.
It's very deep.
As big as a gaming chair. It's insane.
Yeah. So that's the Pro chair. The black chair out there is the SE version. The white chair is just the standard Omni. And I'm sitting in a prototype version, so we can ignore this one. And then we also have the Maxis chair, which we already showed. So maybe in a minute, maybe we could pull that out as a comparison. So France is just going back and forth with chairs. So backrest is, when we're looking at back support, I absolutely love the Omni chair. I know we're showing all these different ones. When it comes to the backrest, this is not something that they really made a big change for when they made the Pro chair, and obviously the Maxis is the bigger version that we talked about earlier, but it's basically all these chairs have the same backrest other than, again, the sizing. All the other changes they made, the seat, they changed the shape of the foam a little bit to make it a little firmer. They added some of those features with the fan. But looking at just the backrest, we can kind of talk about these as a group, but it has so many of the things that we keep talking about, in my opinion. It has the flexibility. You can really move around. It has the S-curve. It has a adjustable lumbar. Now, I get it. A lot of people don't like that lumbar is adjustable. Or, sorry, not adjustable. They like the adjustability. They don't like that it's electronic. So that's, again, maybe a difference here with the SE is you can take away those electronics and have a actual knob to change. We also talk about the Aeron. It's great. It has the super responsive. The SE is one of the most responsive lumbar adjustment knobs I've ever seen. So you don't have to sit there and crank it a whole bunch. You can just turn it pretty short turns and you're going to feel that lumbar change really quick. So I love that. Excuse me, losing my voice a little bit. And it also has a little bit of that cradled feeling, which I personally like. So all these things are kind of coming together to make it a chair that I absolutely love for back support. One final thing, and then I'll hand it off to you guys. The arms go lower. We talked about this with the Maxis chair. The armrests do go lower than the previous version. So again, helps you keep your shoulders at the right spot. So like I'm sitting in the prototype, it has been bugging me the last couple hours, but my arms are up here. I want to have them down here. And you can do that in the newer versions of the chair. So for me, it's a S tier, if you couldn't tell that already.
I have to just make sure because of you know, what's happened. This isn't sponsored, this live stream.
I just love
By
it. I mean,
Libernovo.
that's where
He
it's funny. I get
genuinely-
so much hate that, oh yeah, it's sponsored. You guys are shells.
Shells?
But I'm like,
I am a
shells.
shell.
Well, someone just said something shells. But the truth is, this is the
You
chair
like the
I
chair.
have at home and I sit in. I mean,
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. And it's not the only chair I love. I have other S tier chairs, but for me, this is just a amazing chair. And, you know, like I got hate for not pointing out all the problems with the chair in the last video. Well, they kind of fixed pretty much all the problems I had. That doesn't mean it's absolutely perfect, because none of the chairs are, but for me, it's like the glaring issues that I saw in the prototype and even in the standard version were fixed with these newer versions. So I just didn't have a lot of negatives to talk about.
What's your rank?
For back support and for the whole chair as a whole, it's a S tier.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the thing about this chair is that it does things that even, so I've only given 2 chairs an S tier, the Leap and the Fern. This chair does things that those chairs don't. This chair is actually soft. You're not going to find any other high-end chair on the market that has an actual soft backrest that you can like sink into due to the foam being soft. Some of them have softer mesh, more elastic mesh, maybe like a 4-layer type system like the Fern where you're kind of suspended, but not just soft foam that you can just sink into and just feel cushion soft. And I get it brings into the added dimension of warmth. I think that a lot of people are going to take the trade-off of maybe being a little extra warm, kicking up the AC or something, maybe a fan, to get the extra padding on this chair, because it does offer a level of comfort that you're not going to find on any of the other high-end chairs. And another thing that I do like is it kind of feels like the Embody, because it's so flexible and so narrow in the backrest. So your freedom of movement is going to be bigger than maybe any chair on the market right there with the Embody, because you have so much room to move and it's so flexible. And no other chair, no other high-end chair does this. None.
Yeah.
Like the closest one is probably going to be an Embody if you back the back angle all the way off and you're going to be like here. So it's a really tough not to look at this chair and be like, okay, I love the flexibility. It's got phenomenal support in the lumbar all the way through the upper back. Even when I lay completely flat, my entire back is still being supported. It's nice and soft. I mean, the truth is that for me, this is an easy S-tier backrest on its own, but I've been thinking about this a lot. If you were to ask me to pick the best chair on the planet right now, backrest and headrest combined, it's this one, which is pretty crazy to think about, because the Fern with the headrest, I'd say it's a C tier. The Gesture with the headrest, I'd put it in an A tier, but it has some shortfalls like we talked about before. The Embody doesn't have a headrest unless you want to buy one from Atlas, which third party, whatever. I just am very, very impressed by this chair. I didn't love it. I didn't love the prototype. The new version, it kind of just fixed everything. It's pretty. I'm still wondering how they're selling it for only $1,000, to be honest. I mean, maybe the price is going to jump up soon, but like, it's a really, really comfortable backrest. So I'd be at an S tier for this.
Whoa, he goes S tier.
Just 2 S's.
Dang. Well, I feel like a jerk. I'm gonna go A. I'm gonna go A. And I set this up before. It just doesn't fit my back the same as the bigger one. So if I were going to S tier one of their versions of the chair, it would be the bigger chair. I like the little bit thicker back pad. I think that the way that it curves when you juice up the lumbar, it just hits me in the lower part of my back, which I need. That one is too up high. So other than that, it's an awesome chair. So all right.
Yeah. Maybe just real quick, can you just put those two next to each other, the Pro and the Maxis?
Yeah.
Because then you can really,
Size difference?
when I first put that Maxis together, I was like, whoa, I did not think it was going to be
It's
that
way
much
bigger.
larger.
Yeah, the
but
SC
it's
is
a bigger chair.
It's less than that price now because that's an introductory price. I don't know where it stays, but you can absolutely like claim one for $10, which
Did we get special casters on this one? That's
That-
the only thing
Yeah,
that's-
that is,
the dual.
they sell those, yeah. So those don't come with
I was about to say
standard.
everything on this one is just beefier and bulkier, and then I saw the casters, and I wasn't allowed to say that anymore.
Yeah, the Maxis. So Michael's just like, the Maxis is huge. Yeah, it's huge. Once you
big
see, like,
chair.
look at the arm pads.
Yeah,
So
the arm pads are insane. They're like
right, well,
literally
we-
twice the size.
we can't give it all away because you got a video coming up. So you got to make
Yeah.
sure that
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys pop
Sorry,
in there
I
for
know.
that. And now you don't even
Saving
need to
it.
come watch our videos. Just came to our live stream. All right, guys, that is it. Hopefully you enjoyed it.
We still got one more.
We got one more chair?
Your favorite chair is
Oh
still
my
out there.
gosh.
Closing it down.
Now let's chill it up in here. Let's chill it up. We're about to.
This one will be quick though, because we already talked about the Leap, right? But it's
The Lamia.
So, if you don't know what this is, it's a Franken chair, right? It's got the Amia seat pad and it's the Leap frame, and this is my S tier chair because it just improves on what I think the seat needed for the Leap. But I think that the Leap, especially now that we do the refurbished version where we add the extra padding, has kind of solved the thinness of the seat pad that some people, including myself, noticed. I know that I really appreciate having that extra padding in there, but this is my God tier chair here. Again, it's a Leap chair essentially, just with the Amia seat. So everything I've said about both of those is true in this. And if you missed it, I love it. So
Yeah, easy S tier for me. It's just a Leap backrest. S tier all day.
Yep. Yeah, we had that right at the top, and I don't think it's getting bumped down. So I actually have to move I kind of forgot. We never moved the Libernovo back up because that was 2 S's and an A.
Yeah,
So I'm going to
that's
bump that
Dang.
up.
For sure.
And then the Lamia will go right up there next to the Leap.
dang.
Yeah, Michael asked, he said we kind of didn't talk about the SE, but basically it is that same as the Pro, just has a different fabric, and it has instead of electronics, it has the manual lumbar support. So yeah, been super happy with that one. That's probably the version I'll take home with me after our live stream is done. So if that says anything.
Someone wants yeah. So the question that came in, can we get the full screen at the end? YouTubers, this will, after we're done with the live, it'll get posted as just a regular video. And so you'll be able to scrub through whatever you want to see. And then you'll be able to grab that at the end of the video. So you can just scrub to the end if you want to, and then you can see it there. So, all right. Thank you guys so much. Is there anything else we want to add? I think we're
That's
good.
good. Just remember, we do have that 15% off on our website. So it covers everything on the whole site. So if you are looking at these chairs, we have the Lamia we just showed, the AMEP, we have the Amia, the Leap, all those, and a lot more. We talked about the IKEA, the Vera chairs. So a lot of our products that were shared in the video, we have them on our site. So check it out if you're looking to buy today.
All right. Awesome. We will see you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot.